Good morning. It's 8:30. I'm Neva Retimanu. Donald Trump says he meant one thing and said another on the issue of Russian election meddling. The US president was condemned for siding with Russia over his own intelligence officials at their summit with Vladimir Putin in Helsinki. Here, he is at yesterday morning's joint media conference insisting Russia didn't interfere in the 2016 election.
My people came to me. They said they think it's Russia. President Putin just said it's not Russia. I don't see any reason why it would be.
Trump now says he accepts intel showing Russia did interfere in the election. He says he simply got his words muddled up.
The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. Sort of a double negative. So you can put that in.
And Barack Obama has taken a thinly veiled swipe at Donald Trump. He's criticised politicians' use of alternative facts. Obama made the comment as he delivered the Nelson Mandela lecture in Johannesburg, telling the audience we live in strange and uncertain times, and you have to believe in facts.
Without facts, there's no basis for cooperation. If I say this is a podium and you say this is an elephant, it's going to be hard for us to cooperate.
Academics are backing criticism of the KiwiSaver scheme in an open letter from 9 independent financial advisors to the Financial Markets Authority. They want regulation of providers of default KiwiSaver funds. They say over the last 6 years, savers have missed out on about $1 billion and unnecessarily paid around $70 million in taxes because funds were left to languish in low-yielding default plans. Michael Littlewood at Auckland University's Retirement Policy and Research Centre says the financial advisors make a good point.
If the default providers don't know who their members are and haven't even asked them what the appropriate tax rate is, well, they may have asked them but not found out, then the system is falling down in that regard.
Georgina Beyer has been invited to speak at the Oxford Union. The world's first openly transsexual MP and former Labour MP will follow in the footsteps of former Prime Ministers David Lange and Helen Clark. Georgina Beyer told Mike Hosking she'll be speaking about her life and will be preparing well.
I think I'm sort of quite well known for never writing speeches. But yeah, so on this one I think we need to be pretty together on it.
Federated Farmers thinks the government should be cracking down on child abuse before bringing in more animal welfare rules. This after Associate Agriculture Minister Meka Faitiri proposed a Commissioner for Animal Welfare and a parliamentary working group on the issue. Federated Farmers Animal Welfare spokesman Miles Anderson says a commissioner would be another burden on the taxpayer that wouldn't achieve much. Complaints of headaches as Wellington bus passengers get used to another change to their daily commute. Bright blue lights on buses. The top floor of Metlink's new double-deckers are basked in blue light that turns to white when people get off at a stop. Emmy Mackay has more.
People have taken to Twitter about the lighting, with some saying it looks like a disco, while others say it's impossible to read in and is giving them a headache. A Metlink spokesperson says there's been plenty of comments about the new feature, but they're not aware of any formal complaints. It says the light is for operational purposes to ensure the safety of drivers at night, with reflective light on the front windscreen.
That's Newstalk ZB News with Panasonic's new OLED TV range. True Black shows true colour.
To Newstalk ZB Sport, pole vaulter Eliza McCartney has beaten her own national record with a clearance of 4.94 metres at Jockrum in Germany. Her effort is the highest women's vault this year, beating American Jen Sear's 4.93 metres in April. McCartney's previous national mark was 4.92 metres, set last month at Mannheim in Germany. She made a failed attempt at 5.01 metres after winning the competition. Only 2 women have previously cleared 5 metres. Merlin must have been in the reckoning for man, or at least machine, of the match with England's 8-wicket one-day international victory over India at Headingley. The famed bowling machine was brought into action earlier this month as the hosts tried to counter Kuldeep Yadav's left-arm wrist spin. His figures went from 6 for 25 to 3 for 68 to none for 55 across the series. An unbeaten 186-run third-wicket partnership between Owen Morgan and Joe Root saw England chase 257 to win and take the series 2-1. International cricket with Kennards Hire, experts in equipment hire. The Wellington Phoenix will add another player to their squad today. The A-League clubs called a media conference to announce a signing at 3:30. Meanwhile, a ringing endorsement for new coach Mark Rudin from defender Dylan Fox. Fox captained the Phoenix in a pre-season game against Wairarapa United last night and says he made an immediate impact.
The gaffer's come in and I'm ready to run through a brick wall for him, so all the lads are the same. It's been hard, but it's been great, so we're all ready to go.
The Phoenix won the match 1-0. Football coverage with BritanniaOnline.com, bringing you football and UK pension transfer results. And former Kiwis captain Mark Graham has been inducted into the NRL's Hall of Fame. He's the first New Zealander to be recognised and will be inducted at the SCG next month. Graham played 146 games for North Sydney between 1981 and 1986. I'm Andrew Alderson. That's Newstalk ZB News and Sport. 25 to 9. Leighton Smith is next.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
New homes in Huapai from $600,000. Good morning. The northwestern slow coming in from Te Atatu, the southern city-bound heavy Drury through to Takanini, again from Mount Wellington through to Green Lane. The southwestern southbound heavy through Hillsborough. And it's moderate to heavy at times coming in on the northern from Tristram. Check out new homes available in Huapai, MikeGreerHomes.co.nz. Ivanka Zonich for Time Saver Traffic.
Newstalk ZB Weather Watch 24/7 with Mike Greer Homes. Free swing package with all homes purchased in July. Manukau and Waitemata, variable 5 knots. Sea smooth but choppy when wind opposes tide. Hodaki Gulf and Breamhead to Cape Colville. Westerly 10, easing to variable 5 knots this morning. Cloudy periods and fair visibility, a few showers mainly this afternoon. High tide at Auckland 11:30 this morning. Onehunga 16 minutes to 3 this afternoon. Today, showers developing this morning, some possibly heavy, easing tonight. Tomorrow, showers turning to rain for a time. Ahead to Friday, long fine spells. And Saturday, cloud increasing. Today's high 15 degrees, currently in Auckland. It's 10 here at Newstalk ZB.
At 8:37, it's time for all the attitude, all the opinion, all the information, all the debate. Right now, on the Leighton Smith Show on Newstalk ZB.
Morning and welcome to the program. We're here till midday. Our number, if you'd like to join us, is 0800 80 1080. Email is Leighton at newstalkzb.co.nz and you can text on 9292. Yesterday, we spent a hell of a long time during the course of the morning talking about the Trump phenomenon and everything that was going on. I thought this morning that we would move on, park it back at the program, whatever it might have been, but I have been overruled by events. There is no question that the world has moved on, that Trump has moved on, that people have... No, it's not true. Lots of people haven't moved on because they had nowhere to go except down the same track. Now, what I'm going to say in the next couple of minutes is going to be random to some degree, but targeted in the end. This morning, Trump he attempted to make recompense for what he says he misspoke the day before. There's a question. He says he should have said, meant to say, thought he'd said, wouldn't, when he said would. Question is, do you believe him? Don't shout that loudly, please. The question is, do you believe him? Well, let's just park that for the moment. I want to go back and just talk about the people involved here. In the groups that they fall in. There are so many groups now and subsets that it doesn't matter where you go, you can find what you want. I can find what I want, and some of you can certainly find what you want. The Democrats and the left are at him, at his throat constantly. It doesn't matter what he says or what he does, he is condemned. It's all a matter of condemnation degree. And yesterday it was flying higher than ever before. And there's a reason for it. And I could go into that reason now, but I won't because it'll take too long. The other side, and that is the Republicans, there have been the never-Trumpers. They still exist, and they've been out in full force, the McCains and the Lindsey Grahams, etc. They don't like Trump. They never have. They don't want him there. They're the warmongers, by the way. They're the ones that are in link with the deep state. if you believe what some people say. There is now many other subsets. There's a subset of one, for instance, Rand Paul. Rand Paul has taken, he's a libertarian Republican senator, has taken a different attitude to the other Republicans, and he's actually sided with Trump. I'll give you some reasons shortly. I have said on many occasions, I said it again yesterday, that Andrew McCarthy, who was a federal prosecutor, and I won't go into his history again because I don't think I need to, I take a lot of advice from him. I don't mean personal advice. I mean I take advice from what he presents, what he writes. He has never been a great Trump fan. He's made no bones about it. And today he exemplifies the fact that he's not a great Trump fan. The article is headed, "No, the president did not need to meet with Putin." Now, it's a lengthy article, once again, and one needs to read the whole article to get it all into perspective. Prior to President Trump's dismal performance on Monday's evening, you get the picture so far? Meeting with the Russian despot, Vladimir Putin, I expressed bafflement over his long-standing insistence that we need to have good relations with Moscow. This has never made sense to me. We've often done quite well, thank you very much, while having a strained modus vivendi with Moscow, even when it was the seat of a much more important power than today's Russia. So that sets the stage for where he's at. I take his advice and his opinion on board. There are things, though, that I don't take on board. Here's another article from the Federalist. 10 ways the Department of Justice abused its authority when it spied on Trump's campaign. Never forget, you've got to look at this through through different perspectives. I try and not do that. Forget, that is. Look at it through different perspectives. You can easily, in the heat of what's being said and what's going on at the moment, forget what's driven all of this from the very get-go. And it has been the attempt by numerous groups of people working together to eliminate Trump from the presidency. First, when he got the candidacy, or even before it, when he got the candidacy, when he won the election and became the president, they have been incessant in their attempts to undermine him. And I argued this yesterday, I'll argue it again today. When Trump was confronted with a question like he was, about who do you trust, he did not, by the way, say that he didn't trust them and he trusted explicitly Putin. He didn't say that. All these headlines about throwing the services under the bus, etc., were exaggerated. But that's not unusual. Anyway, the point being, when he's confronted with a question like that, and the organisations that are being referred to have set out to bring him down, to crash and burn him right from the get-go. And they are incessant, and they haven't stopped, and they won't stop. So put yourself in that position. Do you trust them? I'm somewhat disappointed this morning when he backpedaled and said, of course he trusts them implicitly, except that he's got an out as far as that's concerned. Some of the people, there are two teams. There's the Trump team and there's the Obama team. And the Obama team is still essentially in charge of the FBI and the Department of Justice. He has replaced some in other areas. You've got a group of people who, I'll put it this way, were as untrustworthy as could possibly be the James Clappers of this world. They were Obama appointees. They were totally behind and totally promoted Clinton and totally attacked from the get-go Trump. And they are simply not to be trusted. They've shown that they're untrustworthy. So what he was confronted with was a dilemma. Now let's accept, which seems to be the mainstream, I don't mean the mainstream media, but the mainstream acceptance that he wrong-footed it yesterday. Let's just accept that. I understand, I believe, why he did it. Now, that doesn't say much for his judgment because he should have arguably handled it better. I'll take a step back on that from yesterday. He should have arguably handled it better. He should not have answered the question the way that he did. Shall we say, present a situation that was unfavourable to his own country, which is what the claim is. Now, there are people defending that and saying he didn't do that, that this is all BS and that it's an exaggeration and that it's a load of tosh. Now, I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to simply say that he should have handled it better, and he could say that's a failure. And I'd ask you then, and do not write to me, David, for heaven's sake, and say, got nothing to do with Obama, that's ancient history. It's got everything to do with comparative attitudes. And they are relevant. That when Obama went on his apologetic world tour, bowed and scraped to the King of Saudi Arabia, made apologies for America all over the planet, and he did. Where was the outcry? Where was the undermining of America? Where was all this? And this is what I mean by the bias and by the different groups, and you can find what you want wherever you want to find it. Plenty more to be said. This will be a test of his strength of character, and yes, he does have character, and he does have strength of character, but he is plainly, on this particular day, under extreme assault, and he's feeling it. You can tell. And I'd suggest the first thing he needs, and he won't get it, is a breather. A holiday. However long it might be. 2, 3 days, 4 days, 5, a week, it doesn't matter. He needs it. You try and put yourself through what he's been through over the last 10 days that he's been out of America, and see how you go. This man has more energy than all of us put together, pretty much. And I can't help but wonder if it's because he doesn't drink, whether that contributes to it a great deal. Doesn't matter either way. He's got energy, and that's being recognised by anybody who's got an objective viewpoint. Ball's in your court. 0800 80 1080. Email is Leighton at newstalk.co.nz, and you can text on 9292.
Mouth-watering marinated pork simmered in pepper sauce with ginger and garlic beautifully come together in Chinese Sichuan pork.
And at Z, we put it in a pie. Try the Sichuan pork pie. Just $4.99 this week only at Z Express. While stocks last, T's and C's apply.
AA Auto Glass. You're just driving over the Auckland Harbour Bridge, and suddenly your car window is smashed. Don't worry, AA Auto Glass will fix it fast.
We'll fix it fast.
AA Auto Glass will also sort out all your paperwork with your insurance company. It's fast when you phone AA Auto Glass.
0800 300 120. 0800 300 120.
Is your phone system built for the future or stuck in the dark ages? Cordia's cloud solution offers a secure, feature-rich phone system that will keep your business humming. And with no monthly fees and free calling for the first 3 months, there's never been a better time to get your phone system out of the cupboard and into the cloud. Call Cordia on 0800 567 342 or visit cordia.co.nz. That's KORDIA.co.nz. T's and C's apply.
It's never been easy to be a foot. You're far from the action, forgotten in the shower, and you're hardly the most attractive body part. Then comes winter. You're always getting kicked out of bed first, leading the ungrateful rest of the body across icy floorboards. I could really do with an HRV heating system. It's a shame Fee don't have fingers, or I'd be dialing HRV right now.
Install an HRV heating solution this winter. Better for you, better for your home. Visit hrv.co.nz.
Hi, Michelle from Nuclear Mirror Demisters. This winter, let's stop your mirror misting up. If you're building a house, renovating or designing a new bathroom in the Auckland area, ask your electrician, cabinet maker or bathroom designer to install a Nuclear Mirror Demister. It heats the mirror and stops your mirror misting, giving you a crystal clear view. And there's a Nuclear Demister to suit every mirror, any size. They can even be custom designed. Take a look for yourself. Just search Mirror Demister and find Nuclear. The Nuclear Mirror Demister. Ask for it by name.
Newstalk's about 10 to 9. Andy, morning.
Good morning. I think there's an aspect of what Trump's doing that nobody's thought of. He's playing a very deep game. You look at chess players, they'll sacrifice 4 or 5 pieces for one objective. He's not looking at the now, he's looking at the end game. Now, if he went in there swinging, laying down all of these accusations and telling him, look, you got to do this, Putin's walls would have gone up and the division between America and the Soviet Union would have become even greater. He's playing the good guy to Putin because the old saying goes, keep your friends close but your enemies closer. And that's the game he's playing. He can't influence and control somebody when they're standing thousands of miles away, unfriendly. You can't do it. It's impossible. He wants to be that interaction. He wants that level of control subtly, sometimes majorly, but you can't do that if the guy's at a distance with his walls up. And that's the game he's playing here.
You think?
Yes, I do.
Then tell me why you think then that he did the explanatory that he did this morning.
I can't fathom his deep level of thinking. I don't know why he said what he did, but there is a reason. Everything that he does, there's a reason. I think at the end of his second term, I think he's going to start pushing. I mean, North Korea was the most isolated and tyrannical nuclear, on its way to be nuclear power, and he's taking care of that. That's the first stepping stone. I think his end game is the denuclearization of Russia and America, and pretty much everyone. By the end of
I'm sorry, is denuking?
Denuking everyone.
Won't happen. I don't think he's silly enough to think that'll happen.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how big his ambitions are, but if he manages to do that, he would go down as the greatest leader.
Yeah, but he won't. But he won't.
You never know.
No.
You never know his level of dreams.
Well, dreams don't necessarily give you fulfillment. All right, you've got to be realistic.
If that is his end game, he cannot do that with Putin at a distance, and that's why he's playing nice, and getting him to interact and be political and discourse and to get things done. You can't do that if somebody's got their walls up, you know?
Yeah. Well, what Andy's saying is an argument that's been around for a while, and that is that what's the proper term? It's not eighth level chess, but eight times removed. Whatever the term is. I'm not sure that he has the ability to do that, or anybody in his position has the ability to do it.
He's accomplished a lot of things.
One of the aspects of this that there's lots of things that have to be remembered and should not be forgotten. One of the things is that he has undermined the diplomatic corps to some considerable degree. A bunch of, in the main, very precious people who think they're the only ones that can do anything. They're the only ones who can resolve these things. And maybe one of the reasons that we've still got ongoing conflict on the planet, although that's always going to be the case. Do you actually believe that what he said this morning about it, he thought he said or meant to say or should have said wouldn't instead of would?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was up really early for work.
All right. All right, Andy. Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. 6 to 9, News Talk to me.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Brain Day this Saturday. Google Brain Week for details. Good morning. The Southern Motorway City-bound heavy Drury through to Takanini, again from Ellerslie through to Green Lane. Heavy in patches coming in on the northern from Constellation. The northwestern city-bound, it is slow from Te Atatu. And you've got a light run on the southwestern both ways. The Neurological Foundation Brain Day this Saturday. Panel discussions, mind-boggling activities. Google Brain Week. Time saver traffic.
Hi, Terry. G'day, Chris. What are you doing out here? On my daily walk, mate. That's the grandkids over there. But you live in the city. This beach is a fair way out.
Nah, it's pretty much handy, really. Got the new beach house. That's that one right over there.
You run your company from the beach?
Sold it through Barker Business Brokers. Got a superb return. And now I'm enjoying the return on all the old hard work.
Barker Business Brokers, eh?
Yep. Life's the beach, Terry.
Barker Business. Give them a call. Might be just the thing you need. Licensed REAA 2008.
Oh, keeping warm in winter. Keeping cool in summer. Whew. Or even just shutting out unwanted noise. Can be as easy as shutting a magnetite window. Whether you're looking at a new build or getting retrofitted, Magnetite will get you the most out of your home. So keep out the cold and the noise from the kids on school holidays this week with Magnetite. For a better home, head to magnetite.co.nz.
Avoid the crowds and enjoy the food show in a more relaxed setting with Preview Day tickets. Delicious food and drinks, new products, special deals and more. ASB Showgrounds Thursday, July 26 only. Tickets at foodshow.co.nz.
The speed limit on the motorways around the Waterview Tunnel is changing to 100 kilometres per hour max. But the new speed limit can change depending on the conditions. So watch the signs, and for more info, search Waterview Tunnel.
Hi, Steve here from Ian Hunt Flooring, inviting you in-store to see our winter specials on laminate flooring, including Modular One from Germany, a new water-resistant laminate you'll love. Visit Ian Hunt Flooring, Mount Wellington and Albany.
Ian Hunt Flooring.
You can do better.
Get a GEM travel loan from 12.99% fixed per annum, taking you wherever you want in the world.
You can do better with GEM, powered by Latitude. Apply today.
Rates tailored to you from 12.99 to 29.99% fixed per annum. Credit, lending criteria and fees apply.
Newstalk to me, it's 4 to 9. I'm getting emails from all over the place. From different perspectives. I'm getting stuff sent to me. I've just learned of a new site called Colonel Pat Lang's Outpost. Know nothing about it. But there is something that is interesting in what the author of it said. Stand by while I retrieve it. Not sure if you're aware of this or not, but a website in the US is reporting that Lisa Page has confirmed to the House committee that the Chinese hacked Clinton emails. According to Colonel Pat Lang's Outpost website. I don't know anything about it. Page threw her former bosses under the bus in confirming that all 30,000 of Clinton's emails were hacked by the Chinese. I think the story is getting interesting, says Paul. There's no question that when she appeared before the House committee last week, at the end of last week, she was much more compliant than was her ex-paramour, who really is a freak-out case. And all reports from inside that closed-door examination suggested that she cooperated completely and almost completely and almost totally, and that the guiding the Department of Justice people who were there with her allowed her to answer more questions than they allowed Stroke to answer. Now, whether there's more to be said about the Chinese and the emails.
Get those jobs done at home and get your polycarbonate roofing sheets from Supreme Plastic Roofing, 29 Princes Street, Onehunga. Top quality polycarbonate roofing sheets are at hot prices. There are sheets as low as $12. Choose from top quality corrugated and Greca sheets in a full range of colours and profiles. Freshen your outdoor entertainment area with polycarbonate roofing from Supreme Plastic Roofing. See Supreme Plastic Roofing, 29 Princes Street, Onehunga, or call 0800 Plasrid, and now also open 9 till 12 on Saturdays.
Here's a tip from Property Apprentice.
Should you buy a home first or a rental? The answer is yes. Which one depends on your situation.
For more information, register for a free 2-hour training event. Text ticket to 268 or go to propertyapprentice.co.nz.
Celebrate 100 years of deals from Smith City with incredible deals and 50 months interest-free finance, plus a chance to win a 100k mortgage repayment. Stores open till 8 p.m. this Thursday. The sale of our century on now at Smith City. See online for T's and C's.
Rajesh Patel. Hi. Here's my team. Hiran, Sunil, and Jan.
Pinnacle Life Insurance will help your team, crew, or whatever you call the people who matter most to you stay tight, even if you go unexpectedly. And the great thing with Pinnacle Life Insurance is the premiums cost less because you can apply online. See for yourself. Check out Pinnacle Life Insurance now at pinnaclelife.co.nz and keep the team tight if something happens. Pinnacle Life. Keep the team tight.
When Patrick Ferry started building the rest home and hospital that would later bear his name, he wanted to build a place where older people were treated like family. Today, his son and daughter continue that vision with everything they do at Highgrove Village and Patrick Ferry House. It's modern, friendly and caring, but most of all, it's all about family. If one of your parents requires care and are living in the North Shore, think Patrick Ferry House, side by side with Highgrove Retirement Village. Visit patrickferryhouse.co.nz.
T&T Children's Wear has 60% off padded vests and pants, plus all quilted sweat tops and track pants half price, and flannelette shirts only $5.99. That's up to 60% off everything winter.
Only at T&T Children's Wear.
I mean, I live around here. I'm on this road all the time. I mean, it's a really familiar drive. It's, you can see it's straight, it's wide, I can see for miles. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going a little over. I mean, I don't see the harm, really.
As a cop, I've been called out here a fair few times. Saw her and I knew there was nothing we could do for her. Less speed matters to me, because I've seen the harm.
In Auckland on 89.4, this is Newstalk ZB. Mike Hosking, Kerry McIver, Larry Williams, Jack Tame. The names you know and trust. This is Newstalk ZB News.
It's 9 o'clock. I'm Neva Reddy Manu. Donald Trump insists he simply misspoke when he insisted Russia hadn't interfered in the 2016 election. The US president has faced condemnation for believing Vladimir Putin rather than his own intelligence officials on the issue of election meddling. Following yesterday's summit with Putin, he rejected any suggestion Russia had interfered. He now says he didn't mean what he said, and he fully accepts Russia did interfere in the election.
In a key sentence, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason or why it wouldn't be Russia.
Trump remains adamant there was no collusion between Russia and his campaign. Armed car thieves have led police on a 71-minute car chase around Waikato, during which they attempted to ram patrol cars. The drama began about midnight when officers spotted a Suzuki Swift that had been stolen from Ngaruawahia. Police followed the car to Hamilton, then to Horsham Downs and on to Morrinsville. It ended up on State Highway 27 between Ohiniwai and Tahuna, where the vehicle began trying to ram patrol cars. The driver eventually lost control and crashed. 2 people in their 20s have been arrested, and a third man found with a shotgun and ammunition was arrested in Hamilton. The trio will appear in the Hamilton District Court today. A reminder that politicians are also people. Health Minister David Clark copped flack from a couple of columnists for being away on holiday with his family during the nurses' strike. Labour's Stuart Nash told Mike Hosking, politics takes a dreadful toll on relationships and friendships.
Never forget that after politics, you're still a father, you're still a husband, you're still a wife, you're still a partner, and we can't forget those relationships.
While National's Mark Mitchell agrees, he believes this was an exceptional circumstance.
Because it was signalled so far out and because it was pretty unprecedented, 30 years since we've had strike action like this, very, very serious matter, it probably would have been prudent that he was in the country.
And some indication is expected today as to what happens next in the nurses' dispute. Their representatives had a 6-hour meeting yesterday with their DHB counterparts. A New Zealander who was also the world's first openly transsexual MP has been invited to tell her story at the Oxford Union. Georgina Byer's life has been an eventful one. As well as her gender reassignment surgery and a kidney transplant, she's been a Labour MP and Mayor of Carterton. The debate was where David Longy famously spoke about nuclear power in 1985. Georgina Byer told Mike Hosking those at Oxford University's Debating Society want to know about her life and how she managed to achieve things.
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah. Hey, I remember
Kendrick Lamar's wowed a crowd of 16,000 people at Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium last night. The show saw him perform hits like Humble and involved fireworks and light displays. Concert goer Michael Dine told Mike Hosking it was a bit of a shaky start.
It started off a little bit poorly, to be honest. The gates opened at 5:30 and the first act wasn't for about almost 3 hours. But once he came out, it was brilliant. He just played banger after banger.
Kendrick Lamar will perform 2 shows in Auckland tomorrow and Friday. Newstalk ZB Sport, another advance towards the ambition of a 5-metre clearance for pole vaulter Eliza McCartney. She's beaten her own national record by 2 centimetres with a clearance of 4.94 metres at Jochum in Germany. Her effort is the highest women's vault this year, beating American Jen Sear's 4.93 metres in April. She made a failed attempt at 5.01 metres after winning the competition. Only two women, Yelena Iznabayeva and Sandy Morris, have previously cleared 5 metres. The Black Ferns' 28-strong squad to face Australia next month will include a sevens flavour, despite missing some significant names. Stacey Waka and Teresa Fitzpatrick have been named, as well as Elena Saili, who was in the wider sevens squad. All three weren't originally included in the contracted list of 28 due to their sevens commitments. Black Ferns coach Glenn Moore says Waka and Fitzpatrick are talented in both forms.
Both of them were in the World Cup side last year, and Elena's been in the seven setup and played earlier on in the year in some of the circuits, and she's a very, very impressive individual, and she certainly played well in that game we had at the last camp.
Black Ferns sevens players Portia Woodman, Sarah Goss and Kelly Brazier have decided to focus on recovering post-World Cup rather than being available. International Rugby with Access Solutions, solving your access problems. A month after repeating as US Open champion, Brooks Koepka fancies his chance of a first British Open crown. The world number 4 will line up as one of the favourites at Carnoustie, especially with long hitting game. Koepka says links golf presents a challenge.
I can see 7 to 10 different ways to play the shot, and to me that's fun, and you start using your imagination. The best player will win this week. I think that's always the case with links golf.
Golf with Crown forklifts for near new X-Lease forklifts, just call Crown. No concession of the Tour de France's yellow jersey from Greg Van Avermaet as the race moved into the Alps on stage 10. Julian Alaphilippe won the stage. And that's Newstalk ZB News and Sport with Wet and Forget. Remember, it works, you don't. It's 9:06. Leighton Smith is moments away.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Brain Day this Saturday. Google Brain Week for details. Good morning. The Southern Motorway citybound still slow Drury through to Takanini. Again, Ellerslie through to Green Lane. No delays on the southwestern. The northwestern starting to ease coming in from Partiki. And the northern citybound a moderate patch at Esmond. The Neurological Foundation's Brain Day this Saturday. Panel discussions, mind-boggling activities. Google Brain Week. Time saver traffic.
Newstalk ZB Weather Watch 24/7 with Mike Greer Homes. Free SMEC package with all homes purchased in July. Manukau and Waitemata, variable 5 knots. Sea smooth but choppy when wind opposes tide. Hodaki Gulf and Breamhead to Cape Colville. Westerly 10 knots, easing to variable 5 this morning. Cloudy periods and fair visibility. A few showers mainly this afternoon. The high tide at Auckland 11:30 this morning. Onehunga 16 minutes to 3 this afternoon. Today, showers developing this morning, some possibly heavy, easing though by tonight. Tomorrow, expect a few showers turning to rain for a time and ahead to Friday. Long fine spells, cloudy though on Saturday. Today's high 15, currently in Auckland, it's 10 degrees. Here at Newstalk ZB.
Call 0800 80 1080 to talk back on the Leighton Smith Show. Newstalk ZB.
Email is Leighton at newstalkzb.co.nz, and you can text on 9292. I just made a major blunder. As in, pushing a button without checking. 15 pages. All I wanted was the first page, and I've got 15 coming. And because I doubled down, or double up, stand by, oh, it's not, it's printing 15. I use both sides of the page normally. I firmly believe Trump meant to say what he said. Writes Peter, his turnaround, I believe, was to take the heat off himself to give him time. What he did say today, after correcting himself about hacking by others, says to me he knows what has been going on behind closed doors with the interview of the female. Forget her name. You mean Lisa Page. I believe she will throw her lover under the bus and come clean. Now, the email, the stolen emails, the missing emails, is a fascinating story. It's just one of many in this drama, and it goes like this: the missing emails and the DNC hack. Both fascinating because nobody knows where they are and what happened, except that the security services are saying that the Russians hacked the DNC computers. I want to know how they know that when they haven't seen them. The FBI got refused access to them, and now they've disappeared. So how do they know that they hacked the DNC computers? Now, this latest suggestion that Lisa Page, the former FBI lawyer, who disappeared after, got sacked, basically. Actually, she resigned, but she had no choice. And she's now working for a law firm. After her appearance last week, and apparently, to be confirmed, suggesting that the Chinese hacked the emails, when the Russians are supposed to have done it. Now, all of this flies in the face of what WikiLeaks has said, what Kim.com said. Now, why would I throw him in? Why? Because he's had plenty to say on it, but had little coverage of it. Now, if there's one thing about .com that we know, is that he's a whiz-bang when it comes to technical matters. Just is. And his not theory, his certainty is that those emails were not hacked online. They were downloaded onto a memory stick. Simply because the speed at which they know the speed at which they were downloaded. I don't know. Don't ask me how he knows or how they know, but they do know. And no one's arguing with it. That the speed that those the DNC computers were hacked at was faster than you can do online. Therefore, the only other way it could have been done is to be hacked personally at the computer coalface and put on a memory stick. So someone had to have access to it. Now, whether it was the Pakistani guys who were doing work for the DNC, or whether it was somebody inside the DNC, or whoever, who knows. So you've got at least now, three different methods that these could have got out, been hacked. Let's just transfer attention for a moment to the indictments that were announced last Friday. Here's something interesting that I've not heard anywhere in this country. On one hand, you can say with confidence that announcement was made. Those indictments were announced on Friday, the last day of the week, when Trump was meeting with Putin on the Monday, on the other side of the planet. What would possibly be the reason to do that? Those indictments could have been announced at any time. But no, they were announced the working day before the summit meeting. Now, the only conclusion you can come to was done on purpose to upset the summit. Except for one thing. It is reliably reported, Trump was briefed before he left the country on what was in those indictments. And he was also told the day that they would be released. So he was aware of that. So it came as no surprise to him. So why did he handle it, if that's the way you see it, so badly on the date? Well, he didn't necessarily. He turned it back on them at the question. He answered the question the way that he did, that got him into trouble. But then went on to talk about where are the DNC computers and where are the missing emails. This is a story that Daniel Silver could write. And arguably nobody else. By the way, speaking of Daniel Silver, I got news on him this morning too. So it just gets more and more. Will we ever find out? The answer is I damn well hope so. Whatever the answer is, whatever the way it turns out is, I hope that we do. Because I don't want a mystery for the rest of my life. Because then accusations can be thrown around at random by anybody, and they're not necessarily true. Now, there is so much more to this. I think that, just with regard to China, I've got things nagging at me, and I don't know how much time I want to spend on it. I don't know how much time you want to spend on it, for that matter. And I said at the beginning we wouldn't spend all day on it. With regard to China, if I were to suggest to you that China was far more dangerous to America and the rest of the world than is Russia, Would you accept that, or would you argue with it? Potentially, I'm suggesting that China is far more dangerous, far more threatening, far more undermining. If the Chinese were the ones who hacked the emails, well, that would be just timber for the mill for that particular argument. But we don't know. Just this report that Lisa Page has told them that they know that the Chinese did it. Well, how do they know the Chinese did it when there were, as I understand it, 5 different countries that hacked Hillary Clinton? Conclude at this point then with this question. How come when she broke the law, completely, utterly and totally broke the law, for which the equivalent of which there is at least one other person in prison at the moment for doing what she did, or something that falls into the same category, he being a military person, how come nobody's pursuing that? How come that's just been parked? 9:16, 0800 80 1080, email Leighton at newstalk.co.nz. You can text on 9292.
To be one nest egg closer to retiring, oneroof.co.nz. Buying, selling, all things property.
Applications for the 2019 Xander McDonald Awards are now open. Let's recognise our young leaders in agriculture with one of Australasia's top badges of honour. The awards are open to those 35 years or younger, with the winner taking away a prize package worth $50,000. Enter now. Applications close August 24th. Go to pppgroup.org. The 2019 Xander McDonald Awards, proudly sponsored by Allflex, supporting tomorrow's leaders in agriculture.
When it comes to getting new curtains or blinds, leave it to the experts. Auckland Drape Company has expert in-home consultants who work with you, your decor and your budget. And this month there's up to 30% off fabrics by James Dunlop, Charles Parsons and Warwick. Some conditions apply. When it comes to windows, it's first and best dressed. Call for your free in-home consultation today and an expert will come to you. Auckland Drape Company, 379 5599.
This is Dr. Thomas Levy, an American cardiologist. It's now the time of year when colds and flu and even pneumonia are a greater threat to your health. Lipospheric vitamin C is a must for the medicine cabinet during the cooler months. Ask for lipospheric vitamin C by name at your pharmacy, Health 2000, and Hardy's stores, or online at John Appleton, Auckland. It's a sensational product.
Read the label and use as directed.
Retirement should mean having nothing to worry about. So ideally, you want a comfortable place to call your own, medical care and support with daily living. And you need to know it's affordable. So here's great news. Your ideal lifestyle is available now. With a choice of modern studio apartments, tailored care packages, and with prices starting under $200,000, you know it's affordable. Rosedale Village in Albany. Call 0800 102 547 to find out more.
It's one of the most cost-effective ways to insulate your home. Thinsulate window film from 3M. Retain warmth in winter and cool air in summer. Thinsulate window film offers almost the same level of insulation as installing an additional pane of glass. And it's virtually invisible, so the look of your home and the view when looking out the window is practically unchanged. Regulate the temperature of your home and reduce your energy costs all year round. 3M Thinsulate window film. Google 3M Thinsulate window film to find a licensed installer.
Where will Stevie Nicks, Mick Fleetwood and Neil Finn be on the 3rd of October? They could be with you in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hello, this is Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac.
Newstalk ZB can get you to see Fleetwood Mac live as they kick off their North American tour with our very own Neil Finn. Coming soon.
Hi, this is Stevie Nicks.
Fleetwood Mac, live in Tulsa, thanks to Air New Zealand and Newstalk ZB.
It's 19 after 9. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. I think what Andy said before the news is correct. I think that President Trump is wanting to be involved with Russia on good terms because he sees that as an opportunity to get involved with Iran and diffuse some of the situations that are arising from Iranian ambitions. And I think when he went to Davos, he was largely they wanted to sort of exclude him, but he said he wanted world peace and world prosperity. And I think really he has a high-minded ambition to reduce nuclear armaments, and between America and Russia, they have 90% of nuclear military weapons. And I think when he embraced the North Korean dictator, I think he knew that that was a way to try and weaken the connection with China, because he recognises China's influence on them and the situation that China's creating in North Korea while their ambitions go south to the South China Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's an alpha male, and most of these people in opposition to him are beta personalities, and they don't actually understand how the strategies apply in creating, and I think he's got good intentions for world peace.
Well, here's a challenging question for you. If you're playing, and dimensional was the word I was missing before, if you're playing 3-dimensional chess or 8-dimensional chess or whatever it might be, if you're adapting that to other aspects of life, right?
Yes.
So you think that he's playing, what dimension do you want to pick?
Well, let's go high.
So 8-dimensional chess, which is what somebody, I picked it up from someone yesterday, said they don't believe in 8-dimensional or whatever, but
I wouldn't know.
Let's just say you're playing an 8-dimensional game, not chess, but a game to do with some other aspect of life. In this case, it's politics and geopolitics and international politics, the whole kit and caboodle. If you're playing that sort of game with a business arrangement or business deal that you're pursuing, which is his specialty, then what's the worst that can happen? It falls over, you don't get the deal.
That's right.
Right?
And you can walk away.
You can walk away. Now, if you play the same level of the same dimensional game in international politics and it falls over, doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen?
I think very little, because you've still got the same players. And if you can persuade or influence people towards a good strategy that's going to have good outcomes, that is a good thing. It's not as if Russia is a rich country now. And I think he would understand so much. He'd get all the briefs that we have got no idea about. And I see no reason to not get involved in discussion if it can lead to good things down the track.
Well, how about another alternative, and that is that if you're playing 8-dimensional and you're playing moves ahead of the pack, and they don't work out, isn't it also possible you could end up with a major crisis? Because you've gone so far down that track that you can't pull out?
I don't think so.
I do. I think it's possible.
I don't think so, because if people start to understand that the intent is a good intent...
Yeah, but people, good for whom?
Well, I think for the world population.
Yeah, but not everybody thinks in those terms.
No, that's quite right.
Take the trade war that is in its infant stages, and let it develop. So you rack up the game, and instead of it working out the way that you wanted because you expected the other team to fold, it doesn't, and it fights you. It fights you back on every level, so that you get to a point where there is no retreat without losing everything. Then you're stuffed. Let's just not forget it. But Jill, good call. Thank you. 9:25.
Auto Glass.
You're just driving over the Auckland Harbour Bridge and suddenly your car window is smashed. Don't worry, AA Auto Glass will fix it fast.
We'll fix it fast.
AA Auto Glass will also sort out all your paperwork with your insurance company. It's fast when you phone AA Auto Glass.
0800 300 120. 0800 300 120.
Is your phone system built for the future or stuck in the dark ages? Cordia's cloud solution offers a secure, feature-rich phone system that will keep your business humming. And with no monthly fees and free calling for the first 3 months, there's never been a better time to get your phone system out of the cupboard and into the cloud. Call Cordia on 0800 567 342 or visit cordia.co.nz. That's
it's never been easy to be a foot. You're far from the action, forgotten in the shower, and you're hardly the most attractive body part. Then comes winter. You're always getting kicked out of bed first, leading the ungrateful rest of the body across icy floorboards. I could really do with an HRV heating system. It's a shame feet don't have fingers, or I'd be dialing HRV right now.
Install an HRV heating solution this winter. Better for you, better for your home. Visit hrv.co.nz.
Hi, Michelle from Nuclear Mirror Demisters. This winter, let's stop your mirror misting up. If you're building a house, renovating or designing a new bathroom in the Auckland area, ask your electrician, cabinet maker or bathroom designer to install a Nuclear Mirror Demister. It heats the mirror and stops your mirror misting, giving you a crystal clear view. And there's a Nuclear Demister to suit every mirror, any size. They can even be custom designed. Take a look for yourself. Just search Mirror Demister and find Nuclear. The Nuclear Mirror Demister. Ask for it by name.
Newstalk's about 27 past.
For over 70 years, Metropolitan Rentals have been helping Aucklanders to achieve their goals. For those who want to shift, lift or dump something, Metropolitan Rentals has a range of box trucks, tip trucks and high-ab trucks. For those who need to go places, Metropolitan Rentals has plenty of minibuses as well. And for those who've always dreamed of being a truckie or a bus driver, well, you know who to call. Get it done at metropolitan.co.nz.
Metropolitan Rentals.
Newstalk's about 27 after 9. Leighton, Trump's backflip on what he said the day before is a disappointment. He should have stuck to his original words. This is the first sign that the swamp creatures are getting to him. I've remembered something that yesterday morning I said, and I thought of it earlier and I couldn't. I made this comment yesterday that there was one statement that he made that I didn't get. I just didn't understand. And I was thinking about it early this morning, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was. It's come to me. It was that very statement. That very statement. The wouldn't statement. I didn't get it. So maybe now I do. Except nothing. He misspoke. That would explain it. You may remember I said that yesterday. There's one part of it, I said it to a caller, there's one part of his commentary that I did not get, I couldn't understand it. And that was it.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Thinking about heat pumps? Think at Toshiba. Good morning. The Southern Motorway city-bound heavy Papakura through to Takanini. You've got a moderate patch at Green Lane. The northwestern moderate to heavy coming in from Great North Road all the way through to the city. And the northern city-bound a moderate patch at Esmond. No delays on the southwestern. Think at Toshiba, the heat pump the experts choose. Ivanka Zonich for time saver traffic and travel.
If you're building or renovating, specify genuine Diamond Fusion Easy Clean so you can keep your showers looking showroom new. Call Diamond Fusion Direct on 0800 66 72 78 for the world's only true lifetime glass protection. If they say it's like Diamond Fusion, then it's not Diamond Fusion. Call 0800 66 72 78.
Don't spend an hour cleaning your shower. Do it in a minute with Diamond Fusion.
Do you love having family and friends over to visit?
At our North Shore villages, Knightsbridge, Mayfair and Park Lane, we have spacious, modern 2 and 3 bedroom homes available now. There's plenty of room for entertaining, and they're perfect for having the grandkids to come and stay, just like you're used to.
Don't miss out. 2 and 3 bedroom homes available now. Call Laura on 0800 774 635 or visit arenaliving.nz.
Grab your new Toyota Hilux from Albany Toyota today. 3.9% finance on selected Hilux models until August 31st. All new vehicles from Albany Toyota drive away with on-road costs included, full tank of fuel, 1-year registration, initial warrant of fitness, 1,000 kilometre road user charges, and genuine terms and conditions and Toyota Finance normal lending criteria apply.
Follow the leader, Albany Toyota.
Albany.co.nz.
There's never been a better time to have hearing loss. Seriously. Advances in technology mean hearing solutions are getting smaller and smarter every day. Like the Swiss-crafted titanium. So small they're almost invisible. You can also get hearing devices that Bluetooth to your phone, so you keep connected with everything and everyone you love. Talk to Triton Hearing today about your free premium technology upgrade. Call 0800 45 45 42.
Newstalk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis, it's no trouble with Blue Bubble. The run of record profits for New Zealand banks has come to a halt with the latest KPMG report on banks' performance showing an 11.35% decline in profits in the 3 months to March. Nurses are expected to report back today on yesterday's 6-hour meeting with DHB representatives. Global dairy prices have dropped again overnight, with overall prices down 1.7%. At the latest global dairy trade auction. Swedish firefighters are combating about 80 wildfires throughout the country, some of them raging out of control because of high temperatures and low rainfall. Generous Kiwis donate $12,000 to family of Burmese couple drowned at Muriwai. See it now at nzherald.co.nz. Back to Leighton Smith.
By the way, on the domestic front, the 4-day working week trial at Perpetual Guardian has been announced a success, and the boss wants to make it permanent, which is possibly worthy of our attention shortly. Leighton, Trump's original statement simply shows the So what do you think of this? The diplomatic care and brilliance of the man. He started the sentence with a negative. That which is stated after an initial negative can have a duality of meaning and is open to interpretation in either the positive or the negative. By the construction of that statement, he did not cast any aspersion on Putin and Russia, nor any aspersion on the FBI or the CIA, unless, of course, one wishes to see that he did so by some sort of deliberate misinterpretation of what was so obviously meant. What I interpreted him as saying was, Mr. Putin has given me his word. Failing evidence to the contrary, I accept his word, until such time as I have proof to the contrary. It's a reasonable comment. Martin, morning.
Good morning, Leighton. I reckon that it was very calculating what he said in Helsinki and his retraction today. My argument is that he said what he said in Helsinki to get back to his intelligence people, that he doesn't trust them, the likes of Comey and Strzok, who have now proved to be absolutely horrid, and putting the intelligence on notice that I don't trust you until you prove yourself. And then today with his retraction saying, hey guys, I trust you. So I think we're going to see a different breed of person coming through the intelligence departments of the states.
Well,
what he said was intended. The retraction, he was always going to do the retraction, but he had to make a point that and tell his intelligence staff that they had been put on notice.
Do you think?
Get the right facts.
Yeah. Do you think that the swamp attack was far greater than he? I mean, it's the biggest ever, I think. But do you think it was the most intense ever? And it was uniform, pretty much, and it came from his side of the aisle as well. Do you think that was something he expected or not?
He thought winning the elections, he should have the whole Republican Party on his side. But where he went wrong was giving McCain a bit of a nudge way back in the election process, and Kane's never going to be on his side because of what Trump said about him.
No, never.
If Trump had not said anything about McCain, he probably would have gone with him. But
no, I doubt it. I think there was an underlying dislike, and I think that's a mild term.
Yeah.
But it was just it was magnified by the commentary. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Republicans who just wanted to get into government and went on the Republican ticket, yet their thoughts are not conservative at all, and that's the other part of the swamp.
You've got varying degrees or varying subsets with varying degrees of opinion and attitude to all sorts of things, and you've got treacherous people in the Republican Party as well, quite treacherous, like Lindsey Graham. Anyway, thank you, Martin.
Cheers.
John says, what? You don't believe Donald has a plan B, C, D, and E? Of course he does. There's still people around with the faith. But, John, based on some of your previous commentary, I'm not sure. Leighton, China has its own problems. The biggest looming crisis for China is the number of their citizens who will be retiring over the next decade. Problem is that the one-child policy has meant a growing lack of working-age people to support the retirees. Although the old policy has been relaxed to 2 children per family, this is a little too late. The cost of supporting the growing number of retirees will mean China will have to scale back in other vital areas. This is a major reason for China's push into the South Pacific. They are grabbing as much resource as they can before they're forced to scale back. I don't think they have any intention of being forced to scale back, Mike, to be honest. They've got far too much invested and far too long-term plans for that. They might have to step back once in a while, but they would be arguably the biggest beneficiary of the infighting that's going on in the US at the moment. 22 to 10, numbers 0800 80 1080.
Are you working in a real estate shop? When we get walk-ins, we love to show off. Our massive floor is state-of-the-art breakout zones and meeting rooms everywhere, even a TARDIS. The auctioneer is in-house, advertising is written for you, and the backup is unbelievable. A bit lost? Do your sales staff work against each other? You need to talk to City Sales. If you can imagine there's a better way. Martin Dunn, 3030 601.
Citysales.co.nz.
Licensed real estate agent.
The Rugby World Cup Sevens.
Are you ready for this?
On TVNZ Duke.
She's going to go on the outside.
Free magic. Free glory.
And they're already celebrating.
Free rugby. Watch the New Zealand teams fight to defend their titles.
The sweet taste of success.
Live, free and in HD. The Rugby World Cup Sevens. This weekend on TVNZ Duke.
How do they do that?
We know that your next step in retirement is all about finding a home in an established community that you can be part of. MetLife Care's Hillsborough Heights is just that village. We have spacious units with beautiful views available now. Join us for our open day and we'll show you around. Hillsborough Heights Open Day, Saturday the 21st of July, 1381 Dominion Road Extension, Mount Roskill, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. with tours on the hour. Visit metlifecare.co.nz for more information.
Spacious, comfortable and hard-wearing, the RAV4 is the ideal vehicle for anyone who enjoys an active life and a bit of adventure. Find your dream RAV4 at Albany Toyota today. Test drive on our country roads and enjoy our quality service. With the well-specified RAV4 GXL starting at only $35,990, it has never been easier to own one today. All new vehicles from Albany Toyota drive away with on-road costs, full tank of fuel, 1-year registration, initial warrant of fitness and genuine floor mats. Albany.co.nz.
Robust debate, robust discussion, robust opinion. Call 0800 80 1080. The Leighton Smith Show on Newstalk ZB.
The emails keep rolling in. Spectator America has an article, John Brennan misses, he being the former head of the CIA, the communist, misses communist Russia. And then there is an opinion piece. Thomas Lifson ponders 4D chess. Let me get to that in a minute, maybe. Those of you who are fans of Jordan Peterson, I said there was news on him this morning. There is an attempt. There is a mayor in America, in North Carolina, in a place called Durham. Originally, I thought it was Durham, England, that they were talking about, and then I realised it was the NC at the end of it meant North Carolina. Anyway, the mayor of North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, is picking up on the Goff attitude and is attempting to ban Jordan Peterson from speaking at any state-owned platform. Platform's the word that they're now using. Can you actually believe that? Jordan Peterson? This is a prime example of how mad the whole thing has gone. And I mean the PC thing, the war for the mind, the whole battle between left and right, for want of a better term, between opinions, if you want, direction of where things are going. Jordan Peterson, a Harvard professor of psychology, well, he was, and they would have banned him because they don't like what he has to say. It really is quite extraordinary. We'll have a look at that a little later too. The piece that I was just making mention of. Stand by. That's a separate piece altogether. It's not the one that I wanted. It looks exactly the same. I think, writes Thomas Lifson, I think that another factor may also be present in Trump's mind. A desire to provoke or troll his critics in order to get them to use the T word, that is, treason. Now, a normal politician avoids giving critics any opportunity for such accusations, but Trump is not a normal politician. I think we can all agree. He understands that madness now grips his most adamant political foes, and he also understands the wisdom of the ancient adage, as stated by Longfellow, whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Trump knows with certainty that he did not collude with Russia to win the election. But he's also well aware of the kind of footsie that the most recent nominee of the Democrats, Hillary Clinton, played with the Kremlin in approving the sale of a quarter of our uranium reserves to a Russian entity, in return for huge 9-figure donations to the Clinton Foundation and a $500,000 speech for her husband. If accusations of treason are in the air, then maybe Democrats have more to worry about with regard to Russia than does Trump. And don't forget, writes this author, don't forget the 2012 attempt by then-President Barack Obama to covertly promise Putin's number 2, Medvedev, quote, after my election, I think it was after the election, I'll have more flexibility, that was caught on a hot microphone. And don't forget the very affectionate little hand pat that he gave him as he was saying it. To my ears, this is actual collusion. Actual collusion. An attempt to affect the election by keeping information from the voting public in cahoots with the Russians. If I were Obama, I would not want treason defined down to include words spoken at a summit. It's an interesting little comment from American thinker. Now, the 4-day working week trial at Perpetual Guardian a success, and they want to make it permanent. Andrew Barnes, the chief executive of Perpetual Guardian, says he's already made a recommendation to his board to take the policy beyond the initial 8-week trial. The next thing is that I need to get the board to approve the recommendations in the next few weeks, he told the Herald. During March and April, Perpetual Guardian conducted what was essentially a corporate experiment in allowing the company's 240-person staff to retain full pay as well as a 3-day weekend. Pretty extravagant, you'd think, wouldn't you? To ensure an objective analysis, Barnes invited academic researchers, Jared Haar, a professor of human resource management at AUT, and Dr. Helen Delaney, a senior lecturer at the University of Auckland Business School, into the building to observe the impact of the trial on the workforce. From the outset, there was always the risk that reducing working hours would increase the stress on staff to achieve objectives while also leading to lower levels of output as working time was cut by a fifth. But as the trial rolled on, researchers found quite the opposite to occur. What we've seen is a massive increase in engagement and staff satisfaction about the work they do, a massive increase in staff intention to continue to work with the company, and we've seen no drop in productivity. The issue of productivity is particularly pertinent because businesses pay their staff for what they produce. Barnes says the trial shows that reduced hours, in fact, had no impact on staff fulfilling their weekly tasks. Now, I'm only here till 11 this morning because I've decided to import my own and instill my own shorter working week. So I'm going to clear out at 11 o'clock. I don't know what will happen, but, I'll clear out. Because tomorrow, when we do the same thing, we'll be able to pack so much more into the time. We'll just reduce the number of words we use and can't do anything about the ads. We'll reduce the number of words we use and be able to pack much more into the program. Is that fair enough? Not the way it works. In fact, I had suggested to management at one stage that a 4-day week would be a very advantageous thing for all of us. But I was speaking on my behalf. I think they're still laughing, in spite of the time factor that's fallen between then and now. I think they're still laughing. It doesn't work everywhere. It doesn't work with a lot of places, and it doesn't work with a lot of people. Now, you tell me whether you think, well, I don't know, they're the firm, it's a private firm, they can do what they want. Would you, if you are working 5 days a week, would you like a 4-day week and a 3-day weekend? Same money every week, year in, year out. Do you think, work harder in the time that you were there? Would a 3-day weekend make you more enthusiastic about your job? Would it give you more energy to come to work on whichever day you came to work on and to get better results? Actually, positively, an increase in productivity maybe. Would that work? For those of you who are employers, would that work for you? Do you think the idea is worth expanding upon? Or is it just this one firm, Perpetual Guardian, that for whatever reason, I mean, let's not forget, they decided to do it. And before they decided to trial it, they had a good look at things, and I presume, and decided that it just might work, so let's give it a shot. Would it work for you and your firm? Now, if you've stopped working, in other words, you're retired or you're no longer working, you're no longer, whatever the case may be, you can take a slightly different approach. Would you have appreciated it? Do you think, for instance, if you'd worked a 4-day week and instead of now being, whatever you are in your 70s, we'll say, and getting bored with life after midday, do you think maybe if you'd had a 4-day week and a 3-day weekend, you could have still been working because you would have, how can I put it, had an extended work life because of what we might presume is a lesser amount of stress, because stress is arguably the biggest killer.
Is your bank making life difficult? Do you have a sound property development but can't fund it? Have you bought a house but you haven't sold yours yet? Do you want to buy a business or consolidate some debts? If you have 25% equity in your property, I can probably help you. I'm Ian Woods of Ian Woods Mortgages. Getting the money you need is what I do. I can give you an indication immediately after our first discussion. Call me now on 021 82 82 40 or visit ianwoodsmortgages.co.nz.
If health and well-being is what your business is all about, exhibit with us at the 2018 Live Well Festival. October 13th and 14th at The Cloud. A 2-day event giving you the opportunity to be seen by thousands of customers with a passion for living a healthier lifestyle. It's all about fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, skincare, food and beverages, and more at the Live Well Festival. If this sounds like you, then let's talk. Email events@nzme.co.nz.
Why is living at Mayfair Retirement Village so appealing? We asked some of our residents.
The quietness is wonderful, security good, the fellowship amazing.
And I have to say, my friends cannot get over the difference in me since I've been here. I'm so much more relaxed and I smile a lot and I laugh a lot.
Retirement your way at Mayfair. Come to their open day. Tomorrow, 10 till 1. Mayfair Retirement Village, Otaha Valley Road, North Cross. Or view online, arenaliving.nz. Need a change of direction? Looking for the next step? Here's your chance. In 2018, Baileys are looking to grow the team behind New Zealand's #1 rural real estate brand. If you're good with people, motivated to achieve great results and passionate about rural New Zealand, then Baileys want you. If you're considering a change and would like to find out more about this excellent career opportunity, contact Carol Henry on 0800 Baileys or carol.henry@baileys.co.nz. Licensed REAA 2008.
You've made it, but where do you go now? When you're on top of the world, there's Harbourside Ocean Bar Grill. Stop and soak in your accomplishments as you look out at the harbour from Auckland's best covered deck. Enjoy fresh, modern, award-winning dining from the most extensive seafood menu in Auckland. Business or pleasure, you'll know you've made it when you make it to your ultimate seafood and entertainment destination, Harbourside Ocean Bar Grill. There's nowhere else. The historic ferry building, 99 Key Street.
John, good morning.
Good morning, Leighton. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yes, I just turned the radio on and just caught that 4 days working through the week, and I love that idea. I actually worked about 15 years ago for a huge rafting company where I was actually doing a roof renovation, and we did the same hours as they did, which is 4 10-hour days, and the option to work on the Friday half a day for time and a half. And the best thing about this, which the boss loved, was there's no excuse for going to the dentist or the doctors. You know, you do that all on the Friday, the banking or whatever. It gave you a chance to have that one day through the business week to get all your chores done, and it worked very well for everyone.
Was that tried while you were there, or was it in operation when you arrived?
It was an operation this company still does, still today, 4 10-hour days. So they basically, it's a place that actually makes the actual rafts for whitewater rafting. And but anyone who comes in, contractors or to do big jobs, because they're always growing the company, expanding, like we did it was 4 months solid work of just doing the roofing, just to cover the place.
Yeah.
That's how big, it's huge. And you'd go in there and you have your in a day, in a 10-hour day, you have your 2 half-hour breaks. But the thing is, you've got this, in 4 days, you can actually achieve quite a lot, but psychologically, it's brilliant, especially for someone like myself who looks forward to the weekend, looks forward to spending time with family, and it's amazing because you're not like, oh, I've got 2 more days to go on a Wednesday. You've got 1 more day, and
I know, this is a long week, I can tell you.
I think it's been a long sort of week for everyone, hasn't it, Leighton?
Well, I got a break coming up, you see, so it's taking too long to get there.
Well,
anyway, listen, you know the French introduced a 35-hour week.
Okay, then.
Yep. Jim informs me that France is trying to dump the 35-hour week. So why is France trying to dump the 35-hour week? His response, because it doesn't work, literally.
Okay, then. Well, I think the biggest thing in this country, what I want to say, and I've been wanting to say it for a long time here, Leighton, is this. In New Zealand, and it doesn't matter what job you're in, what pay you're on, one, attitude is highly important, hugely important, but the biggest thing, even more important than that, which is lacking all through New Zealand. It breaks my heart. It's like I was raised by the sort of the old school, and what I'm getting at is manners. No one has manners anymore. I mean, you do, obviously, and there's still, a good few of us out there, but just general common courtesy, manners, just being polite to people, treat others how you want to be treated. The really, really simple stuff. I mean, if I had my way, if I was the Prime Minister, one of the first things I was introduced into preschools or into the various 4 to 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, is once a week have 2 hours, 3 hours dedicated to manners. Have the kids, the little boys pull out a chair for the girls and help each other. Yes, sir, no, sir. Just when you go to someone's house, you offer to do the dishes,
Yeah, but listen, it's. I love coincidence, and this morning I was thinking of the manners thing, and it really, really annoys Mrs. Producer, this aspect of it. But what made me think of it this morning was I walked out a locked door, and there was a woman about to use a card to get in, and I held the door open. She just walked straight past and through the door. And I thought, I actually said out loud, thanks. But what really pees Mrs. Producer off, it's one of the banes of her life, is when you give way to people, when you on a narrow road where the car's parked and you stop and you allow the other car coming the other way to come through, and well, I won't say nobody, but people who don't give you a wave or say thank you. Even on pedestrian crossings, when cars stop, it's nice to just give them a short, quick wave to say appreciate it. Even though the rule is that they have to stop, just,
Oh, totally here. I mean, with those people, I actually feel sorry for them, but I don't let it consume too much of my headspace because it's a negative, it's not a good buzz. And I really, truly believe is, the more you can just be positive within yourself, and I never used to believe this, but I do now. It took me a good 30-something years to understand it, but you do have to love yourself before you love others. You've got to really have, the old, have your camp and check everything.
Well, I agree with you, but do you want to call it love or respect, self-respect? Or a combination?
Good self-esteem, self-pride, but also with the respect.
I don't think it needs to be self-pride as such.
When I say self-pride, what I mean is having pride within the person you are, where you come from, the family you come from. Hopefully, if you do come from a good family, unfortunately, there's a lot of broken families out there. But if you come from a good family, and what I mean a good family is a family that installs good morals and manners, and teaches you about to have pride and respect for your elders and within yourself and what your family name represents, and just the good stuff in life,
Yeah.
And that's all I wish for everyone in New Zealand out there listening to Newstalk ZB right now, is, just right now listening to me, smile.
Smile, there you go. You've got to smile while I hang up on you because we're out of time. Thanks, John.
Is your bank making life difficult? Do you have a sound property development but can't fund it? Have you bought a house but you haven't sold yours yet? Do you want to buy a business or consolidate some debts? If you have 25% equity in your property, I can probably help you. I'm Ian Woods of Ian Woods Mortgages. Getting the money you need is what I do. I can give you an indication immediately after our first discussion. Call me now on 021 82 82 40 or visit ianwoodsmortgages.co.nz.
So here we are, Wednesday. It's the back break day, and is that the right way to put it? Tuna Mayo Day is the right way to put it. Tuna Mayo Day at St. Pierre's Sushi Stores. You get 8 big pieces of tuna mayo for only $5.70. Now, I say it often. It's one of my boys' favourite sushis, and he always likes to have lunch if we're going to do it. He says, can we have it on Wednesday, please? So I'm going to tuna mayo out of you.
Kia ora, I'm Grace Cara.
And I'm Paula Griffin. We're the Northern Stars and we're after that win.
On Monday, 23rd of July, the Northern Stars will be playing the top of the table polls for the final time this year in a match you won't want to miss at Pullman Arena, Papakura at 7:40 p.m.
So grab your mates and don your purple gear.
Come along and support the Northern Stars.
Booking details at northernstars.co.nz.
With Pinnacle Life Insurance, your family can hold on to the special bond that keeps you together and tight, even when you're gone. Do it right now. Go to pinnaclelife.co.nz and in just 10 minutes, life insurance sorted. Online. Pinnacle Life.
Hi, Raymond here, World Moving and Storage. So, your siblings have moved to Aussie and you're looking after your elderly parents. We could move them to live with your sister for a wee while. You're welcome at worldmoving.co.nz.
World Moving and Storage.
0800 4WORLD.
You know that one artist you just can't get enough of? Turns out there's a place you can listen to your favourite, woven seamlessly into a playlist with artists just like them. iHeartRadio. When all you want to do is listen to that one artist all day, every day, there's Artist Radio on iHeartRadio. Go on, indulge your single-minded obsession. Download the iHeartRadio app. Never miss a beat.
iHeartRadio. In Auckland on 89.4, this... Stay connected. newstalkzb.co.nz. This is Newstalk ZB News.
It's 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Malcolm Jordan. Donald Trump is trying to calm the storm ignited by his news conference with Vladimir Putin. Now back in the US, the president has reviewed his choice of words when he backed the Russian president over his own intelligence staff.
I came back and I said, what is going on? What's the big deal? So I got a transcript, I reviewed it, and I realized that there is a need for some clarification.
Trump says he misspoke when he said he didn't see any reason why it would be Russia interfering with American politics. He meant to say wouldn't be. Meanwhile, Barack Obama has delivered another biting stand-up routine about the man who replaced him as president. He's delivered the Nelson Mandela lecture in Johannesburg. The speech criticised politicians around the world for their use of deflection and their reliance on alternative facts. But the biggest applause and laughter was reserved for his thinly veiled swipe at Donald Trump.
We see the utter loss of shame among political leaders where they're caught in a lie and they just double down and they lie some more.
There are concerns about the privacy of half of Auckland's GP medical records. 4 healthcare IT companies have jointly contacted the Privacy Commissioner, saying community GP network ProCare Health has all of its patient information stored in one place, which could be compromised. ProCare strongly denies there are any risks to patient privacy. One of the complainants, HealthLink, claims data is being taken every day from every practice on every patient in its database. CEO Tom Bowden says it must be more open about why it needs so much information and how it's secured.
It's just general bad practice. The entire population of Auckland's, last month's data could be put on a couple of thumb drives. It has got to be handled with great care.
A mental health advocate says university counselling services aren't coping with a peak in student stress over exams. Official figures show at least 11 university students have died by suspected suicide in New Zealand since 2015. Otago University had the highest number, with 4 suspected student suicides last year. Corinda Taylor chairs Dunedin's Life Matters Suicide Prevention Trust and says there's a massive bottleneck at counselling services during exam time.
When everybody wants to access the services, they may be struggling with anxiety or panic attacks or depression or, mental distress in general.
More than $12,000 has been donated in less than 24 hours on a Give a Little page to support the 9 grieving siblings whose parents drowned at Muriwai Beach. The page was set up by the employer of 2 sons of the drowning victims. Kevin Hunt from the Insulation Warehouse says the money will be put towards funeral costs and any surplus would go to the family to help cover their living costs. Just like his hit song, Kendrick Lamar seemed humble to fans at his highly anticipated concert in Dunedin last night. The star wowed a crowd of 16,000 at Forsyth Bar Stadium. Concert goer Michael Dine travelled from Christchurch and says there were others from around the South Island and even Rotorua to see the Pulitzer Prize winner. He told Mike Hosking the show was brilliant and that he seemed like a good guy.
He stopped and between songs and then make sure to tell people to look around. If they see anyone who looks like they're going to pass out, to bring them to the front and get them over the barrier because he just wants everyone to have fun.
Lamar will perform 2 shows in Auckland tomorrow and Friday. And in breaking news, nurses and DHBs are continuing their discussions on a potential pay offer. They will meet again next Tuesday. Newstalk ZB Sport, a former all-white striker who's seen Usain Bolt play football up close is unconvinced he can play the sport professionally. Jeremy Brockie, now based at South Africa's Sundowns FC, spent a team training session with Bolt earlier this year. Bolt is considering an offer from the A-League's Central Coast Mariners for a trial. Brockie says he has an obvious presence, but a bit of work on.
It's a bit like me saying, can I start a sprinting career right now? He came with his entourage. He had that appeal like he does when you watch him on the starting blocks at a running race.
Football coverage with BritanniaOnline.com, bringing you football and UK pension transfer results. Pole vaulter Eliza McCartney has beaten her own national record with a clearance of 4.94 metres at Jochum in Germany. Her effort is the highest women's vault this year, beating American Jenny Sears 4.93 metres in April. McCartney's previous national mark was 4.92 metres, set last month in Mannheim in Germany. She made a failed attempt at 5.01 metres after winning the competition. Only 2 women have previously cleared 5 metres. Front rower Corbin Sims is heading south from the Brisbane Broncos to join St George Illawarra on a 3-year deal from next season. The move will see him play alongside older brother Tarek again, having first played together for Newcastle. Merlin must have been in the reckoning for man, or at least machine, of the match with England's 8-wicket one-day international victory over India at Headingley. The famed bowling machine was brought into action earlier this month as the host tried to counter Kuldeep Yadav's left-arm wrist spin. His figures went from 6 for 25 to 3 for 68 and none for 55 across the series. An unbeaten 186-run third-wicket partnership between Owen Morgan and Joe Root saw England chase 257 to win and take the series 2-1. Root reached his century with the last stroke of the game, and Morgan finished 88 not out. I'm Malcolm Jordan. That's Newstalk ZB News and Sport with Wet and Forget. Remember, it works, you don't. It's 10:06. Leighton Smith is moments away.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
CRC Speed Show on this weekend, ASB Showgrounds Auckland. Good morning. The Southern Motorway citybound still slow, Papakura through to Takanini. After that, a nice run into the city. The Northern citybound a slow patch at Greville. No delays on the northwestern or the southwestern. 0800 jammed updates us. Family entertainment, hot rods and more. ASB Showgrounds. Visit speedshow.co.nz. Ivanka Zonich for time saver traffic.
Newstalk ZB Weather Watch 24/7 with Micrea Homes. Free SMEG package with all homes purchased in July. For the Manukau and Waitemata Harbours, variable 5 knots. Hauraki Gulf, Bream Head to Cape Colville, westerly of 10, easing to variable 5 this morning. Cloudy periods, fair visibility and a few showers, mainly this afternoon. For all areas, sea smooth but choppy when wind opposes tide, a westerly of 10 knots tomorrow morning. High tide for Auckland is 11:30 this morning, and for Onehunga it's 16 minutes to 3 this afternoon. Today for Auckland, showers developing this morning, some possibly heavy, easing this evening, high 15, low 8 tonight. Tomorrow, a few showers turning to rain for the morning and afternoon. High of 16 tomorrow, Friday. Long fine spells and light winds. Right now in the city, it's 12 degrees.
Prove a point. Prove them wrong. All right. Call 0800 80 1080 now. It's the Leighton Smith Show on Newstalk ZB.
Email is Leighton at newstalkzb.co.nz. You can text on 9292. I tell you what, the emails keep rolling in. But we shall see. Quick one from Dave, though. Jordan, as in Jordan Peterson's, got them worried. They don't like the truth. The letter in the Herald yesterday that I didn't make mention of, from a person who used to plague this radio station with mad calls, now writes letters to the Herald and gets them published fairly frequently. I couldn't work it out because it did not seem to be in, how shall I put it? It did not seem to be consistent with this individual's usual attitude. But the comment was something along the lines of maybe the snowflakes of today, the millennials, would learn something from Southern and Molyneux. And I thought, this individual had a road to Damascus or something. It was very short and brief letter. That's all. Just maybe they could learn something from these guys. And it didn't seem to fit the trend. 9 after 10. Tim, good morning.
Good morning. Yes. Hey, Jordan Peterson, absolutely fantastic. I read somewhere that 200 million people have read his website. But however, I'm not talking about that. I just recently visited Niue on a business trip with a Niuean living in Auckland who is really keen to go back there with his family and start a business in Niue.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. And however, I hadn't been there before. I was really very pleasantly surprised at what an interesting place it was. But now the population has declined to only 1,500 people, apparently, taking that from the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes, it's hardly likely to be overcrowded anytime soon.
No. And the same website says there are 24,000 Niueans living in New Zealand, and and of those, 70% of them were New Zealand born, 80% of them in Auckland. However, the Niueans, they're absolutely lovely people, and I certainly really enjoyed meeting them over there in Niue. But an interesting place. For a start, most Niueans only work 4 days a week, and that was quickly reported to me when I was starting to look at projects there. They run a 4-day week and they're paid for 5. Statistically, apparently, possibly as up to 50% of them work for the government. The country's really very beautiful. It's a lovely place to be. However, in going around, what was very clear is that much of the country, a lot of abandoned houses, as you might expect with them, people coming to live in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And I looked at agricultural land, and the impression I got very quickly was that much of the agricultural economy that existed there has ceased, and the country in vast areas is sort of returning to bush, or it's sort of jungle, being tropical. The people are really nice, very relaxed. I spoke to several people about looking maybe to provide employment, and I was quickly told that it would be a really good idea if you are starting a business. Filipinos are excellent people to bring into Niue because they work really hard.
Well, hang on. Why do they need to bring anybody in?
Well, because the locals don't want to work or are not available to work, or
But what does that tell us? How much do we give Niue?
Oh, I looked that up. Apparently about 13 million a year, which is, a lot of the people working for the government, so they utilize it for setting up telecom and stuff like that.
Yeah, but could I suggest the old quote, other people's money?
Yeah, well, with the population as it is now, it's about 8,500 per person is contributed by the New Zealand government. And I think quite a lot of money comes back from New Zealand, too, from Niueans living here. What was really impressive is there's no rubbish on the island. It is really very beautiful. You drive around, roads are not great, but if you drive around, there are no telegraph poles because everything's underground. That's all been dealt to. They've got an excellent supply.
So, Tim, what are you... I mean, you've been to Niue and you fell in love with it.
I thought it was great,
and they work a 4-day week. Now, how sophisticated would you say Niue was?
They're fixing up their internet. They've all got the telephone goes right around the island. And there's no old cars there. They're all importing them from New Zealand. I just felt I was really surprised that I was told I better bring in some Filipinos to work because the locals are already busy doing whatever they do. I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a different interpretation. And you tell me what you think. Let's accept that it's a Pacific Islands, lovely place.
Yeah.
Right? Beyond that.
Yeah.
Beyond that. The locals don't want to work, so they have to get imported labour. And we give them $13 million a year or whatever it might be to support them in their laziness. How does that size things up?
Well, I do think that the 24,000 living in New Zealand come here because they want to work, and I think they work hard here. There's 70% of them, I said, were born in New Zealand, but they keep their connection to Niue is there. But you may be right. I think.
See, I'm only basing it on what you've told me.
Yeah.
But let's accept that you're right. I'm not arguing with you. I don't know. I accept what you say for the sake of the conversation. Yeah. That I'm suddenly anti sending them any money. Period.
Actually, one of the problems is New Zealand money and its New Zealand passports, that there's a huge disincentive to compete against what can be provided very easily in a monthly arrival container ship from New Zealand, which is, yeah.
Well, let me quote you, because I've got my hands on some, due to my brilliant research team, on some information. New Zealand will give Niue, this is from March this year, New Zealand will give Niue $5 million in funding to help the island nation get 4/5 of its power from renewable sources by 2025. Yeah. We'll also contribute $750,000 toward improving Niue's roads and water infrastructure. Niue is part of the realm of New Zealand, meaning all Niuean citizens have New Zealand citizenship. The New Zealand government contributes to the ongoing operational funding of the government with tens of millions of dollars in aid.
Yeah.
Between 2015 and 2018, $53.7 million.
Yeah, that's right. And I visited the new solar panel area, which is up by the hospital. They're building a solar farm there, which is great because one of their greatest expenses is this huge generator generating the power for the island. And obviously the diesel or whatever runs it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got the New Zealand government supplied them with a hospital after they had a tsunami or something, I think it was.
But the part I've got to go back to it. The part that gets me is, and I have no idea how many, but they've got Filipino workers because they don't want to.
That's what I was told, yes.
But were you told how many Filipino workers?
Well, no, I met an entrepreneur there who's doing very well, and he had Filipino workers, yes.
Okay. Because the locals didn't.
But otherwise, I didn't have any evidence. Otherwise, just yeah.
All right. So he's bringing them in, maybe, rather than the government bringing them in. Would that be?
I think the locals bring them in, and several people said this to me. This comment was made several times on different occasions. Yeah.
All right.
But the people that want to work, the opportunities there. It's a really lovely place, and I haven't gone yet into the detail of whether establishing an agricultural farm there would actually be killed off by the imports from New Zealand, which are unfettered, I don't know.
I don't know. I once had an idea of I think Fiji was my centre of attention, of doing something similar. I thought it'd be a great idea, but when I dug into it, I didn't come up with the result.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
So the 4-day week. Can I drop something in that I can't help but keep thinking of, and that is, give it time. Once upon a time, there wasn't even a 2-day weekend. Once upon a time, people worked 7 days a week, and then bit by bit, eventually the 40-hour week and the 2-day weekend. And we adjust. Because we didn't know any different. So how long down the road might it be before those on a 4-day weekend, 4-day week and 3-day weekend, think that this is a bit too much? I think it should be reversed. Maybe a 2-day working week and a 5-day weekend would be better. People adjust over time because, well, it's the way that the world works.
$6,000 of upgrades, discounts and free gifts when you create your new dream kitchen at Kitchen Studio. T's and C's apply.
At Somerset Retirement Villages, you can continue to live the life you choose in a warm and friendly community where you'll feel completely at home. Join us at Somerset at Heritage Park in Ellerslie or Somerset Karaka for a morning tea and tour. This is your opportunity to view the choice of homes we have available, designed with you in mind. The team would love to host you at our morning tea and tour on Wednesday the 25th of July at 10:30am and show you around our beautiful village and facilities. For more information, call 0800 Summer or visit somerset.co.nz.
Here's another urgent AMP insurance alert.
Careless Carl in the supermarket car park.
No, he always picks the trolley with a bung wheel.
And he tries to steer it back to the car while on the phone.
Then he'll leave it on a slope.
It'll be bouncing off parked cars like a pinball.
And he never leaves a note.
Insuring your new car with AMP is easy. Go online, anywhere, anytime, and get a quick quote today for car park ding cover tomorrow. Visit amp.co.nz.
Remember, New Zealand, be careful out there.
Underwritten by Vero Insurance NZ Limited.
When Patrick Ferry started building the rest home and hospital that would later bear his name, he wanted to build a place where older people were treated like family. Today, his son and daughter continue that vision with everything they do at Highgrove Village and Patrick Ferry House. It's modern, friendly and caring, but most of all, it's all about family. If one of your parents requires care and are living in the North Shore, think Patrick Ferry House. Side by side with Highgrove Retirement Village. Visit patrickferryhouse.co.nz.
When it comes to retirement, why settle for anything but the best? Like these stunning lifestyle options from Hopper Living. Northland offers the Anchorage Village with a world-class marina at its core. Whitianga's Marlin Waters has unique villas right on the water. Orewa has Maygrove Village with support, security and recreation. And now, Huapai brings you the Country Club, where city meets wine country. Discover more at hopperliving.co.nz.
The speed limit on the motorways around the Waterview Tunnel is changing to 100 kilometres per hour max. But the new speed limit can change depending on the conditions. So watch the signs, and for more info, search Waterview Tunnel.
What is living? It's grabbing the big opportunities, or the little ones. It's doing something different, or more of what you love. Discover amazing offers and deals, and grab life at grabone.co.nz.
Wake up to New Zealand's #1 broadcaster, Mike Hosking.
Hey guys, it's Dynamo the Magician here.
No way.
And join me and Mike.
Demanding real answers.
How did you do that?
The consequences.
Should I be nervous?
Anything could happen.
That's phenomenal.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast with BNZ.
Tomorrow, join me and Mike on Newstalk, the ZB.
New Zealand's #1.
It's magic.
David, morning.
Good morning, Leighton. Yeah, just like to sort of bring up a productivity sort of perspective. From my own business, and I virtually do like a 4 to 4.5 day sort of working week these days, and it's come down from when I first started my business 10 years ago, sort of, I may work a 7th day occasionally, but sort of doing a 6-day week. And that's all I've done is look for ways that I can be productive. So this thing with that particular company that came up in the news item, the 4-day working week is possible, right? And you've just got to incentivise it. But like you quite correctly pointed out before, it's not for everybody. You know,
Yeah,
but it can be achieved.
But what happens? Tell me this. What happens? Let's say you've got Perpetual Guardian. Let's say that as a result of this, a number of other private companies introduced the same thing. What happens when you get what's the term I want? When you get when you get enough that are doing it, that it upsets the rhythm of the country. Critical mass was what I wanted.
Critical mass, yeah, groundswell, that sort of thing, same thing. Well, the thing is that you don't want to sort of move over to something that's going to destabilise what we used to. But it's just that on a basically exceptional at this stage, I guess is what they're saying, is that they can do it. But I personally not saying that we can make the 4-day working week the rule. That's not what I'm implying. I'm just sort of resonating with them, saying that, yes, I've been able to achieve it myself, but to put it in perspective, it's not for everybody. But it can be done. And it's one of these things that I've achieved a lot by being more productive. My hourly rate's probably gone up a lot. I probably barely work about 1,600 hours a year. You know, I take a lot of time off, 10 to 11 weeks as a tradie. And I just have a lot of structure in the way that I work. It's a one-man band. No one else is involved in the picture directly. And basically, I've got a lot of rewards out of it. But like I said, it's not for everybody. You imagine like a bunch of builders turning up to site and only working 4 days. Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. David, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
If you're building or renovating, specify genuine Diamond Fusion Easy Clean so you can keep your showers looking showroom new. Call Diamond Fusion Direct on 0800 66 72 78 for the world's only true lifetime glass protection. If they say it's like Diamond Fusion, then it's not Diamond Fusion. Call 0800 66 72 78.
Don't spend an hour cleaning your shower. Do it in a minute with Diamond Fusion.
Grab your new Toyota Hilux from Albany Toyota today. 3.9% finance on selected Hilux models until August 31st. All new vehicles from Albany Toyota drive away with on-road costs included, full tank of fuel, 1 year registration, initial warrant of fitness, 1,000 kilometre road user charges and genuine floor mats. Grab your 3.9% Hilux offer today at Albany Toyota. Terms and conditions and Toyota Finance normal lending criteria apply.
Follow the leader, Albany Toyota.
Albany.co.nz.
It's never been easy to be a foot. You're far from the action, forgotten in the shower, and you're hardly the most attractive body part. Then comes winter. You're always getting kicked out of bed first, leading the ungrateful rest of the body across icy floorboards. I could really do with an HRV heating system. It's a shame feet don't have fingers, or I'd be dialing HRV right now.
Install an HRV heating solution this winter. Better for you, better for your home. Visit hrv.co.nz.
Are you working in a real estate shop? When we get walk-ins, we love to show off. Our massive floor is state-of-the-art breakout zones and meeting rooms everywhere. Even a TARDIS. The auctioneer is in-house, advertising is written for you, and the backup is unbelievable. A bit lost? Do your sales staff work against each other? You need to talk to City Sales. If you can imagine there's a better way. Martin Dunn, 3030 601.
Citysales.co.nz.
Licensed real estate agent. Why is living at Mayfair Retirement Village so appealing? We asked some of our residents.
This place had the buzz that I wanted.
I think the thing about Mayfair is that it's really like a little suburb. It's just got a very pleasant feeling. It's to me, it's a village. No, it's a little community.
Retirement your way at Mayfair. Come to their open day. Tomorrow, 10 till 1. Mayfair Retirement Village, Otiha Valley Road, North Cross, or view online, arenaliving.nz.
Oh boy, have I got a question for you. Shortly. Have to wait. David writes something that I want to share though. Although I quite regularly listen to both Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, I have heard that these two seem to be immune from censorship by the left-wing media. For this reason, it's believed by some that these two are shills for the left. I will continue to enjoy their broadcasts until their bias becomes obvious to me too. Similarly, Alex Jones of InfoWars seems to have his heart in the right place, but does hold some radical views on immunisation, fluoride, 5G dangers and conspiracy theories regarding 9/11 being an inside job. He is often misquoted on Sandy Hook, but think he is a good Christian family man and does report some mainstream subjects with surprising insight. P.S. Would you agree with me, David asks, that Al Jazeera is more credible than CNN? David, I'd probably agree with you that Alex Jones is more credible than CNN, and that's saying something.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
The speed limit around the Waterview Tunnel is changing. Good morning. Now the Southern Motorway City-bound, still a slow patch there, Papakura through to Takanini. And then after that, a nice run into the city. The Northern City-bound, a little bit slow getting on at Greville. No delays on the Northwestern or the Southwestern. Speed limits around the Waterview Tunnel can change depending on the conditions. Watch the signs. Thank us on it for time saver traffic.
Oh, keeping warm in winter. Keeping cool in summer. Whew. Or even just shutting out unwanted noise. Can be as easy as shutting a magnetite window. Whether you're looking at a new build or getting retrofitted, Magnetite will get you the most out of your home. So keep out the cold and the noise from the kids on school holidays this week with Magnetite. For a better home, head to magnetite.co.nz.
Applications for the 2019 Xander McDonald Awards are now open. Let's recognise our young leaders in agriculture with one of Australasia's top badges of honour. The awards are open to those 35 years or younger, with the winner taking away a prize package worth $50,000. Enter now. Applications close August 24th. Go to pppgroup.org. The 2019 Xander McDonald Awards, proudly sponsored by Allflex, supporting tomorrow's leaders in agriculture.
This week at Fruit World, grab some delicious savings, like Ecuador bananas, only $1.49 a kilo.
Come on in for our renovation frenzy. Get 50% off Ledlux LED pendants. Get up to 30% off Bluetooth lighting. And up to 30% off luxury chandeliers. Think lighting? Think Lighting Direct.
Celebrate 100 years of deals from Smith City with incredible deals and 50 months interest-free finance, plus a chance to win a 100k mortgage repayment. Stores open till 8 p.m. this Thursday. The sale of our century on now at Smith City. See online for T's and C's.
Anne-Marie here from Gilbert's Cottage. When moving, there's no need to worry about how many packing boxes you'll need. Just leave it to us.
Move house with Gilbert's Cottage. Phone 0800 60 30 20.
Newstalk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis, it's no trouble with Blue Bubble. Nurses and DHBs will continue settlement discussions next week. Their union and district health boards had a 6-hour meeting in Wellington yesterday, from which the details haven't been revealed. A cabinet paper shows the government pushed ahead with plans for a Waikeria mega prison for months after coming to power. The Corrections Minister was told it was the only sensible plan of action, but last month he ditched it. A 24-hour police roster is paying off already with a drop in burglaries across the middle of Northland. They have been on duty 24/7 with staff responding from the Kaikohe, Kerikeri and Kawakawa police stations. Preparations are beginning in Perth for funerals for a Kiwi mother and her 2 children, allegedly murdered by a mentally ill family member. 19-year-old Tiankam Peterson Crofts has been remanded to a psychiatric facility. More than $12,000 has been donated in less than 24 hours on a Give a Little page to support the 9 grieving siblings whose parents drowned at Muriwai Beach. A dairy owner credits a fog cannon for saving his life during knife point robbery. See that story now at nzherald.co.nz. Back to Leighton Smith.
It is 28 to 11. Newstalk ZB. I'm hesitating because I wanted to say something on the parents who drowned. It's probably best I don't. I feel very, very sorry for the kids. Now, let me say it. If you saw that news item last night, you thought, these poor people, seriously, these poor people just arrived here, not been here long anyway, and don't know, local custom, don't know local rules, don't know local, detail. Then you find out they've been here for 10 years. And you just wonder, when there are signs everywhere, why? Just why? That's all. Just why? I mean, seriously, you wonder why. Ron, good morning.
Good morning, Leighton. Just about the 4-day working week. I think New Zealand would be a better place if we brought in a 4-day week. The first fellow who started things off, everything he said is dead right. You've got longer weekends, good time to go to the doctor, dentist on a Friday.
Well, hang on. Why would you go to the doctor, dentist on a Friday if it's a 4-day working week? They're not working.
Oh, yeah. No, it's, I used to work night shift, and the reason I took the job was 4 nights a week, Monday to Thursday. I found it much better than working 5 days, and that's the reason I took the job. But they changed on to 5 nights, and you've just a different place, and I ended up losing my job. I didn't show up for work. But yeah, the first caller was dead right with all the stuff he said.
Well, I have to say that I wouldn't mind a 4-day working week, 3-day weekend. But how long before you got dissatisfied, or before people got dissatisfied with that? You know? Like I said earlier, you know, we gradually have reduced the amount of work we do and the length of time we work. Not everybody, but most people. So that we've got the 5-day, 40-hour week. So how long before, under this new regime, if it were introduced, we'd be wanting less?
Well,
or more, depending on your viewpoint.
You're stuck in traffic as well, 5 days a week instead of 4. And Auckland's getting really bad with the traffic.
No, it's not getting bad. It is bad.
I remember picking you up in a taxi back in the 70s. I used to drive cabs.
Yeah.
I had 17 years driving cabs. Yeah, College Hill. You went to the TV place there?
Sorry?
You used to work for the TV place back in the 70s?
No, not the 70s.
Oh, I picked you up in a taxi, I remember back then.
You did?
You went up that way, yeah.
What, from TV3?
I dropped you off there, I think, yeah.
Well, that would have been, in the early 90s.
Oh, I think so. Oh, it could have been, yeah. Okay. No, I had a bad accident and lost 20 grand overnight, and no insurance on the cab, so yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. But no, it's a 4-day working week.
All right.
Yeah, that's one.
A 4-day working week for Ron. Thank you, mate.
Definitely.
Newstalk ZB. It is 23 to 11. Numbers 0800 80 10 80. Email is Leighton at newstalkzb.co.nz, and you can text on 9292. Now from eat.co.nz, the wonderful people who deliver delicious heat and eat meals fresh to your door. This week's a very good week. Why do I say that? Because every week's a very good week with Eat. Waitoa free-range roast chicken with cranberry stuffing, corned beef with mustard sauce, steak and fresh herbed butter. And it comes with a medley of sautéed veggies. Really nice fish mornay with creamy mash and peas. Pork steak with classic sauce. Slow-cooked black mac stew. Comes with a baked vegetable slice. Italian meatball with spaghetti pasta and a wonderful rich sauce topped with Parmesan cheese. Gee, I love Parmesan. Blackball beef sausages comes with handmade wedges, peas and gravy, and silver beet with 3 cheese pie. Now, they're the main courses, right, on the menu this week. They cook them like you would at home. You're using natural, unadulterated food, good quality. Then they chill them down really fast, they shrink wrap them, and they ship them to you in a chilled container, chilled, not frozen. Then you got 3 soups, all wheat and dairy free, a hearty tomato and lentil, ever popular, the soothing chicken, vegetable and noodle soup, and pumpkin and coconut, and the 6 desserts, quite frankly, are to die for. You can see them all online at eat.co.nz, or you can ring and put your order in, 0800 328 333, 0800 328 333. Now, they're all fresh, chilled, ready to heat and eat with a 10-day shelf life from the day of making. You can freeze them, of course, if you want. If for the smaller eater, they've got the Tiddly meals. They're Goldilocks size, not too big, not too small, just right. And they are frozen. And you buy 16 of them. Have a look online for yourself. Eat.co.nz, and then get your order in by 11. They'll arrive on your doorstep tomorrow. Matthew, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Very good. I just want to talk to you about the 4-day working week.
Yeah.
Mate, I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yes.
And I don't see what the problem is. I think slowly we will all just adapt to a 4-day working week. And, you know, things are usually open on the weekends now anyway. So, you know, it's like a rotational shift. Things can stay open 7 days a week. People are working for 4. Other people are looking for others 4.
Okay. Let me challenge you. You say that we'll all be working a 4-day week. You know how many houses are needed in this country, and they can't even keep up with the immigration rate. It's getting worse. So if you're going to have a 4-day working week, how are you going to get the houses?
Well, they'll still build them 4 days a week, and then other people can start building them 3 days a week. Can't they do double rotations and things like that?
Well, we've got a shortage of craftsmen. We've got a shortage of builders, shortage of plumbers, shortage of electricians in New Zealand.
But I don't think that issue should be solved by making people work harder. That should be solved by bringing in more people. There's plenty of people out there in the world that need work as well, and we should welcome them and have them jump on the 4-day working week, and further on we grow.
Okay. So you want to go to the doctor and the waiting list gets longer?
Oh, I think we just need more doctors in that, as we already do now, don't we? But I don't think the solution is, if we currently look at now doctors working a 5-day working week, they've already got a long waiting list. We need more doctors. We need more hospitals and clinics for, if that's the case, we have long waiting lists.
Well, why stop at as you indicated, why stop at a 4-day week? Why don't we have a 2-day week and 5 days off?
Well, I think we should work towards a 3-day week and 4 days off, because, that'd be a good balance, in my book. But, yeah, by all means, we should.
And what would you expect to earn for that?
Well, obviously, if you look at countries like Denmark and things like that, they've got higher taxes, but a lot more equality amongst the people.
Have they?
And I think it's more of a psychological thing. I think if people start to sort of expect less than what they already expect, everyone it's about changing your view on how, what we need from this world. Do we need to be working so hard to get all this money, to get all this sort of, working along with this greed? If we take a bit more time to relax and smell the roses, to say the least, we might find ourselves being a more peaceful bunch of people.
I think we'd have more time to fight. However, what do you do?
I'm a chef.
How many days a week are you working?
I work 5 days a week, split shifts. It's horrible.
Why did you become a chef?
I love food. I love the process, and I love pleasing people and making food and making people happy.
Well, don't you think your life would become far more miserable if you were only working 3 days a week? You wouldn't be making so many people happy, which is what you love to do.
No, I do believe that. I believe that I do enjoy working, and I want to do work, but I believe that if I had a little bit more time to make the people in my life who I really care about more happy, then I would get more content. And that just means a little bit more time at home with the family, a little bit more time to do some socialising with the community, and a little bit less time at work, really. I just think the balance right now is not, if you think of the hours we spend at work, the hours we sleep in bed, we spend more time sleeping and working than we do anything else. And, is that what we were born to do?
Well, I don't know what you were born to do.
Well, that's what I mean. I think if we had a little bit more balance, I'm not saying that work is a bad thing. I'm just saying that we should be doing it a little bit less and doing a little bit more of other things in our lives, and I think we would find the pursuit of happiness a little bit easier.
So Matthew wants to pursue happiness a little more than he is at the moment, and I wish you the best.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
You too as well, man. 4 days a week radio show.
Well, they've already said no, mate. They already said no.
Awesome.
So
thanks for your time.
I told them what they could do. Thank you, Matthew. It is 16 to 11. Numbers 0800 80 10 80.
Attention new ute buyers. Manukau Toyota are financing buyers of new Hilux SR and SR5 at a low 3.9% with 10% down and the balance over 3 years. This deal is open to both private and fleet customers, so drive away happy in a new Toyota Hilux ute. Only at Manukau Toyota. T's and C's apply.
Manukau Toyota, altogether better.
Take a quick trip away this winter and discover an endless array of activities to keep the kids entertained over the school holidays in Dunedin. Get hands-on and experience some edutainment with the New Zealand International Science Festival. Celebrate Māori New Year with our Puaka Matariki Festival, all the while enjoying our boutique shopping, street art, excellent museums and some of the best dining in New Zealand. Find out about all Dunedin has to offer for your holidays at dunedinNZ.com/wild things.
If health and well-being is what your business is all about, exhibit with us at the 2018 Live Well Festival, October 13th and 14th at The Cloud. A 2-day event giving you the opportunity to be seen by thousands of customers with a passion for living a healthier lifestyle. It's all about fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, skincare, food and beverages, and more at the Live Well Festival. If this sounds like you, then let's talk. Email events@nzme.co.nz.
Applications for the 2019 Xander McDonald Awards are now open. Let's recognise our youngsters are open to those 35 years or younger, with the winner taking away a prize package worth $50,000. Enter now. Applications close August 24th. Go to pppgroup.org. The 2019 Xander McDonald Awards, proudly sponsored by Allflex, supporting tomorrow's leaders in agriculture.
Think you know better? Call Leighton on 0800 80 1080. The Leighton Smith Show on Newstalk ZB.
Email is leighton@newstalkzb.co.nz. Peter, good morning.
Yeah, g'day, Leighton.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm listening to this interesting conversation around the 4-day week thing. I sort of understand a little bit around it, but I work in an industry that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. We actually work for border clearances with the MPI. Now, we work at our site and a few other sites around the country work on 4 days on, 4 days off, because it actually meets our operational requirements, so we can actually cover everything.
Yeah.
But it's a different change of mindset. Instead of this mindset being like the discussion today seems to be having a 4-day week, then of course you got 3 days off. We do 4 days that are 11.5-hour days. Fire service, they do 4 on, 4 off. They do longer hours than us too. So we actually work the same number of hours as anyone would on a 40-hour week across a year.
Yeah.
But we have coverage. And this is, I mean, everyone seems to be looking forward to this idea of a 3-day weekend. But maybe they should be actually looking at whether they change their operation to working 7 days. And some of the industries, especially in the likes of Auckland, could do so.
Let me quote you this email that just happened to come in just before you came to air. In one of my previous businesses, Graham says, we had 40 staff running a 24/7 operation. So far you've got something in common.
Yeah.
We tried a shift I thought the staff would love, and for a while they did. We ran 3-day, 12-hour shifts, paid the staff for 40 hours even though they only worked 36, and they had 4 days off. What do you think happened?
Yeah, well, his productivity probably went down because it also comes to how it fits into other people's lifestyle.
Well, what happened was, after a month, many of them got bored with having 4 days off, and most of them arranged secondary jobs working the 2 extra days to make more money.
Yeah, I suppose some of them would in that operation, especially since they were getting paid 40 hours for working 36.
Mm.
And it just comes to also depending on what sort of work you're doing. If you're flat out for, say I do on the 4 days, 46 hours. Okay, so a little bit longer. Your first day off is recovery. Your first day and a half off is recovery. And then you sort of set yourself up for the next few days. One advantage that we find with the 4x4 is work-life balance with other people, because we get about half the weekends off a year. And the thing is truth is, in New Zealand society, the majority of people still work Monday to Friday. So my wife works Monday to Friday. This way we can actually plan to have a lifestyle where we do have some weekends together.
Yep. Well,
whereas some other options just turn around and go against that.
Yeah, well, it's not going to work for everyone. I can't see a 4-day working week anytime in the next 20 years. Just can't see it. You might get a few, based on this experiment, but I can't see it happening. Peter, was it Peter? Appreciate it. 11 to 11, Newstalk ZB.
Hey, remember when you were a kid and you signed up to Road Patrol just to go on the Rainbow's End trip?
Yeah, we used to sit on the front of the log flume just to make sure we got splashed at the end.
School holidays are here. There's no need to traipse around town to keep everybody happy. At Rainbow's End, there's something for the whole family, even the big kids.
You talking about me?
Book online at rainbowsend.co.nz. School holiday hassles are solved at Rainbow's End. It's fun on demand. Rainbow's End.
Oi, Sally, come here. I've just got the drone photos from the luxury apartments being built at Gillies Rise Newmarket.
Rangitoto, wow. Sky Tower. I can't believe how much greenery there is, and yet it's so close to the new multi-million-dollar Newmarket Mall. I want one.
You can.
Yeah, but how much?
Full price range from $5.98 to over $2 million. Just dial 0800 Be Quick and they'll send you a full colour brochure. 0800 2378 425.
Panasonic make great mirrorless cameras, but that means nothing to you because on the radio you can't see how small they are, how fast they operate, and how happy they'll make you. The Photo Warehouse dare you to spend 15 minutes with one of our team learning how cool these new Lumix cameras are. They'll make sure you select the right model and Panasonic will back it with 3 years warranty. Photo Warehouse, Queen Street, Great North Road, or shop online at photowarehouse.co.nz.
Attention new ute buyers. Manukau Toyota are financing buyers of new Hilux SR and SR5 at a low 3.9% with 10% down and the balance over 3 years. This deal is open to both private and fleet customers, so drive away happy in a new Toyota Hilux ute. Only at Manukau Toyota. T's and C's apply.
Manukau Toyota, altogether better.
PwC Herald Talks.
Who better to discuss the new generation making waves in the workplace than a millennial? PwC Herald Talks brings you Sam Stutchbury, founder of award-winning creative agency Motion Sickness. Sam, the only Kiwi to make the 2018 Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list of creative disruptors, will be joined by a panel of experts for PwC Herald Talks. Millennials move up, Gen Z move in. July 25th at Sky City Theatre. Book now at iTicket.
Got to tell you, I just went for a little stroll during the break out into the control room, and I looked at Mrs. Producer. I said, "You look bored." She looked up at me and she said, "I'm never bored listening to you." The incredible thing about that was she said it with a straight face. Shane, good morning.
Good morning, Leighton. How are we this morning?
We're very good, thank you. We're highly amused at the moment, but thanks for asking.
Turn around 4-day weeks. I drive logging trucks for a living, and we average out between 60 and 70 hours a week on a 5-day week, 6-day week. We've been experimenting in the industry with 4 on, 4 off for about the last 6 months to a year.
Yep.
It works quite well. They have the ability to basically run their vehicles 7 days a week. We can keep the customers happy, and a lot of the guys are doing 4 on, 4 off quite happily.
So if they're working the year 4 on, 4 off, they're working how much less?
I actually haven't calculated it.
See,
you get a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
So you've got the ability to go to the shops and the doctors.
No, but if you're working, if you're working 4 on, 4 off, you're not going to have a regular week.
No, you're not having a regular week, but there's no difference to working a shift work, is there? You just adapt to it.
It depends what your shift work is, I suppose. But if you're working 4 on, 4 off, your working days continually change.
Yeah, and you get each weekend is I think you get 2 single-day weekends on a normal weekend work, and then you get a full weekend off, and then there's 1 weekend you'll work through. So it doesn't really make much difference because you're still getting 4 days with your family.
And it doesn't cost it doesn't cost the company.
No, they actually get more productivity because they're getting their trucks running 7 days a week.
Okay. I can't argue with it.
They also do a 5 on, 2 off, 4 on, 2 off.
Well, that changes
as well.
You mean they do all these? Does the one person have all these different programs?
No, there's different. You can get different. You can do a 5-day week, or you can do a 4 on 4 off, or you can do a 4 on 2 off.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying all these systems to make it safe on the roads and bring the stress down on the drivers and, on a whole, make it safer for the community.
I'm all in favour of reducing stress on certain occupations.
Well, like I said, for the last 6 months to a year, the logging industry has been trying to do this sort of stuff and doing what they can to make it easier on everyone else and give us a decent way of life as well.
Yeah. All right. Good call. Thanks, Shane. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing stops Matthew from taking more time off. Matthew, the chef. Nothing stops Matthew from taking more time off. It's entirely in his hands to structure his life as he wishes. I don't think the government is needed to make that happen. However, what is with happiness being the panacea? A lifetime of nothing but happiness is an oxymoron. To have eternal happiness, you choose that over freedom. Freedom creates unhappiness at times because it is hard work. Happiness is easily achieved if you trade freedom for happiness, and in turn it makes one a slave. I would choose, says Mary, I would choose freedom over happiness any time. A 4-day week is insane. Why not have a 2-day week? Structure your life and you can take the whole week off. However, from my perspective, time off is used for loafing, which I prefer. Nothing gets more done. Nothing more gets done. No more friends are made. No more tasks done. I'd throw this in. You find happiness in rarity. Think about it. Isn't that true? If you find happiness, you get a bit of happiness out of an ice cream, or you get happiness out of a day off once in a while, whatever it might be. If you have too much of it, it ceases to be happy. You cannot be happy all the time. The only people who are happy all the time are behind locked doors, padded cells. You cannot be happy all the time. The rewards that make you happy, the things that make you happy become less valuable. Happiness is invested in things that are valuable. Am I wrong?
Yep.
Okay. You get too much of anything and it becomes tedious.
That's a load of rubbish.
No, it's not actually, for most people. I've got people telling me things like this. 3 days off means you have to keep yourself occupied for longer. Thus, drinking, cafe visits, shopping, etc. would take the place of work and you would end up spending more than ever. So work the 5 days and save your money. And then I got people telling me that, well, I don't want to go into that aspect of it, but, why is it then that so many people who think that if they don't have to work, they're going to be eternally happy until they're not?
If health and well-being is what your business is all about, exhibit with us at the 2018 Live Well Festival, October 13th and 14th at the Cloud. A 2-day event giving you the opportunity to be seen by thousands of customers with a passion for living a healthier lifestyle. It's all about fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, skincare, food and beverages, and more at the Live Well Festival. If this sounds like you, then let's talk. Email events@nzme.co.nz.
Newstalk ZB Extra.
So I've got a lot of respect for the cast of Shortland Street. They make it look easy. They work in fast turnaround television, and in my experience, they're lovely people. I might have just been lying dead in mud, but on that day, the makeup artists, director and art department made me feel like a hero for my effort. It was an honour to die on Shortland Street. After 26 years, Shortland Street is a Kiwi institution.
That was a Newstalk ZB Extra.
PwC Herald Talks.
Who better to discuss the new generation making waves in the workplace than a millennial? PwC Herald Talks brings you Sam Stutchbury, founder of award-winning creative agency Motion Sickness. Sam, the only Kiwi to make the 2018 Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list of creative disruptors, will be joined by a panel of experts for PwC Herald Talks. Millennials Move Up, Gen Z Move In. July 25th at Sky City Theatre. Book now at iTicket.
Me too.
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too.
Me too.
Me too. Me too.
Me too.
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too.
You too? Everyone has a story to tell. Newstalk ZB and the New Zealand Herald bring you a series of podcasts sharing 6 Kiwi stories of courage, conviction and the power of speaking secrets. Listen now at nzherald.co.nz/speaking secrets. Also available on iTunes and iHeartRadio.
T&T Children's Wear has 60% off padded vests and pants, plus all quilted sweat tops and track pants half price, and flannelette shirts only $5.99. That's up to 60% off everything winter.
Only at T&T Children's Wear.
In Auckland on 89.4, this is Newstalk ZB. Mike Hosking, Larry Williams, Leighton Smith, Marcus Lush. The names you know and trust. This is Newstalk ZB News.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm plans for a Waikeria mega prison for months after coming to power. In December 2017, Corrections Minister Kelvin Davis advised Cabinet that given the projected shortfall in prison beds, continuing work towards National's plan was the only sensible plan of action. However, last month he announced they were ditching the plan and building a smaller 600-bed facility. National's corrections spokesperson David Bennett says this revelation makes the government's decision not to go ahead with the larger prison all the more confusing and reckless. The police minister doesn't think the high number of senior officers leaving the force will hurt the government's new police target. The Police Association is warning that as many as 500 police are leaving the job a year and that most of them hold senior positions. It's warned about the impact this could have on mentoring and guidance for new recruits. Stuart Nash says they're bringing in 1,000 new recruits a year, so they're replacing experience with really passionate, energised people. Barack Obama has weighed in on Donald Trump's personality politics indirectly. He's mounted a passionate defence of democracy in a Nelson Mandela Memorial lecture in South Africa. Obama's ridiculed the utter loss of shame by lying political leaders. But he's also warned that increasingly authoritarian populist movements are putting global democracy at risk.
Strongman politics are ascendant, suddenly, whereby elections and some pretense of democracy are maintained, the form of it, but those in power seek to undermine every institution or norm that gives democracy meaning.
Meanwhile, Trump insists he never meant to undermine his intelligence officials on the issue of Russian election meddling. The president says he never meant to question the findings or intentions of his intelligence personnel.
I have full faith and support for America's great intelligence agencies, always have.
Trump is promising to prevent any Russian interference in this year's midterm elections. Preparations are beginning in Perth for funerals for a New Zealand mother and her 2 children allegedly murdered by a mentally ill family member. 19-year-old Tiankam Peterson Crofts is charged with the murder of his mother, Michelle Peterson, her 8-year-old son and 15-year-old daughter. He's been remanded to a psychiatric facility. It's believed a family from New Zealand are flying to Perth. A friend has set up a crowdfunding page for the funerals that has already exceeded $20,000. Police have revealed officers were called to the family home several times in the days before the killings, and the accused is reported to have sought psychiatric help. There's a call for employers to take greater responsibility for educating their staff about KiwiSaver. In an open letter to the Financial Markets Authority, 9 financial advisors have criticised the scheme, saying savers have missed out on about $1 billion because of funds ending up in low-yielding default plans. But Chair of Summer KiwiSaver Investment Committee, Martin Hawes, says people need to take charge of their money. He says the solution is better education within workplaces.
You've got to put this onto employers. This is an employment scheme. Employers need to find a way to help educate their workers on how they should be managing their money.
Newstalk ZB Sport. Mark Graham's humbled by being named to the NRL's Hall of Fame. The former Kiwis captain and long-time North Sydney hardman is the first New Zealander to be named as part of the newest induction. Graham, now living in Australia, is deflecting the praise.
It's not a single-person game. It's one that we play as a team, and someone's got to pass you the ball, or someone's got to make the tackles with you. So it's to be shared with all the people I played with was coached by, I think.
Petro Sivanasiva, Cliff Lyons, Steve Menzies, Ricky Stewart and Gordon Tallis are the other new inductees. One of the longest and most versatile careers in rugby league will end later this year, with veteran Cronulla player Luke Lewis to retire at the completion of the NRL season. Lewis was part of the Sharks' 2016 NRL Premiership team and also won a title in 2003 with his former club, Penrith, in a total of 315 matches. Across his NRL career, he has started in all positions, barring the front row and fullback, and is thought to have covered those missing spots at some point during matches. NRL with TNT Express, proud sponsors of the Vodafone Warriors. A former all-white striker who has watched the footballing side of Usain Bolt would be surprised if he's offered a professional contract. Jeremy Brockie had a team training session with Bolt when he showed up at his South African club, Sundowns FC, earlier this year. But Brockie is far from convinced the Central Coast Mariners should be drawing up a full-time contract.
It takes a little bit more than just wanting to achieve that dream, and it takes a lot of hard work. So I would be very surprised if it does eventuate.
Another advance towards the ambition of a 5-metre clearance for pole vaulter Eliza McCartney. She's beaten her own national record by 2 centimetres with a clearance of 4.94 metres in Germany. Her effort is the highest women's vault this year, beating American Jen Sears 4.93 metres in April. She made a failed attempt at 5.01 metres after winning the competition. Only 2 women, Yelena Isinbayeva and Sandy Morris, have previously cleared 5 metres. I'm Malcolm Jordan. That's Newstalk ZB News and Sport with Wet and Forgets. Remember, it works. You don't. It's 11:06. Leighton Smith is moments away.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Magnetite windows keep out the cold and school holiday noise. Good morning. Now the Southern Motorway citybound, still a slow patch there, Drury through to Takanini. Now we do have a new lane layout at Takanini. After that, a nice run into the city. The northern citybound moderate getting on at Greville. No delays on the northwestern or the southwestern. Get your Magnetite window now. Magnetite.co.nz. Ivanka Zonich for time saver traffic.
Newstalk ZB Weather Watch 24/7 with Micria Homes. Free SMEG package with all homes purchased in July. For the harbours, firstly, variable 5 knots. Hauraki Gulf, Bream Head to Cape Colville, a westerly of 10, easing to variable 5 this morning. Might be a bit cloudy, fair visibility and a few showers mainly this afternoon. For all areas, sea smooth, choppy when the wind opposes the tide though, and a westerly of 10 knots tomorrow morning. High tide for Auckland is coming up real soon at 11:30 this morning, and for Onehunga it's 16 minutes to 3 this afternoon. Today for Auckland, showers developing this morning, some possibly heavy. They should ease back this evening, high 15, low 8 tonight. Tomorrow a few showers turning to rain in the morning and afternoon, high of 16 tomorrow. And then Friday, long fine spells with light winds. Right now in the city, 14 degrees.
Call 0800 80 1080 to talk back on the Leighton Smith Show. Newstalk ZB.
What is it about the left that sees it utterly dedicated to anti-prosperity, anti-productivity and austerity? I guess it's because poor people use fewer of the earth's resources. Worthy of consideration. You'd certainly be using fewer of them, or less of them, if you were only working a short week, because you'd have less money. The assumption seems to be made that however many days you work, even if it's 2, you're going to get paid the same, because you couldn't live without it. William, good morning.
Hi, good morning. It's kind of strange. I'm a big fan of your show. And I don't know how people can afford working 35 hours a week in Auckland, really.
Well, I suppose it depends on what you do and how much you get paid.
Yeah. When I started working, I was lucky enough to work in a company that allows me to work as much as I want. So I was working 60, 70 hours a week, year on year and year. And I really hated it. But I continue on because I knew whatever I save, back then I was 20 years old or something. I can do it. My body can take it. So I just continue working because I wanted to have I drew up a plan around, early 20s. I told my wife back then, I said, by 50, I want to have 5 houses.
And are you 50 yet?
Not 50, but I'm there pretty much. So I'm 40. So what I did is I work hard, 60, 70 hours a week, but back then, Auntie Helen was taxing 39%. So I realized if I work, if you work, if you work for, 7 days a week, you knew you could work 3 days for free for the government.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is that I invest in properties, and from there you can, offset some of your taxes.
Yes.
Yes. So, so it was, it was miserable for 10 years, but, my colleagues was going overseas, traveling, this and that, but I just continued working. So that's my story anyway.
Okay, so I got a question for you. Where did you get the drive to do that? What instilled that in you?
I'm an immigrant, so when I first looking for a job, it was quite difficult. It wasn't easy, so there was a drive to work a bit harder, really, to be financially independent.
Yes. That is a highly desirable goal. That doesn't mean making yourself rich, though, does it?
No,
financially independence doesn't mean you're necessarily working to make yourself rich.
Yeah, you have to be smart about it as well in terms of, how you manage the money. That's one thing I noticed is that they don't teach in the school, is that they don't teach people how to manage money.
But where did you learn how to manage money?
I just read a book, read some financial books, so it's kind of handy.
But you had look. Let me go back in your life. Where were you born?
I was born in Malaysia.
Did you have it tough, or was your family well off?
My family is considered well off. My dad is. He earns a lot, but he doesn't know how to manage money. He was wasting money away, etc., and drinking. He was an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
So, when he drinks, you just, when he reached a certain level, I just hide in the room, knowing is that it's gonna be horrible.
So there was a downside to your life when you were young, and you came here alone. And were you married when you came, or did you come?
No, I came here when I was in high school. We immigrated here in the 90s.
Oh, so your folks came here as well?
Yep.
I was going to say, was there anything that either of your parents encouraged you to do that led you down the path that you did, or was it all your own work? I mean, why did you read the books in the first place?
It was a book by Robert Kiyosaki. My sister was reading it, and she was saying, "Oh, it's quite interesting. It's kind of like similar to our situation, like Rich
Man's Dad."
Yeah. My dad earns quite a bit, but he wasn't investing it right, and he was losing money. So by looking at him, I said, "Oh, okay, I learned by."
Hang on, yeah, but what I was asking was the name of the book. It was probably If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School.
No, not that one. I think it's his first book, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
No, the first book was If You Want to Be Rich and Happy, Don't Go to School.
Oh, okay.
I interviewed him. I interviewed him when the book came out.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't that book. I think I read. It's definitely I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I think the rest of the books follow the same principle, more or less, really.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, he got you off to a good start, and now would you say you were happy?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think once you become a bit more financially independent, you don't need to depend on, paycheck to paycheck. Happiness comes afterwards, really. I think.
The lesson for anybody else is that you worked very hard.
Yes.
And you didn't spend your money, you didn't waste it, and you referred to your friends going overseas and all sorts of things, you stuck it out. Now, at what point in life are you going to be able to relax, and will you be able to relax, and at what point of life will you be able to employ the effort that you have invested and reap the rewards?
Oh, okay. I've been working, short hours for the last 5 years or so. So I've been, taking it easy for a while, really. So, once you felt like, you don't have to depend on work that much, then you can, relax a bit, really.
So do you travel much?
Yes, I travel. Been to India, China, the U.S., Hawaii, Japan. Where else?
Where on the plane do you sit?
Still economy class.
There you go. You see,
staying in a hotel. You're just going there to sleep. It's just by means of travel. You don't have to travel in business class. You're just there for a short trip. So it's only like a 12-hour, thing or 10-hour travel, really. So you can, it's all right.
Well, it's a matter of interest. Would you anticipate that, give it another couple of decades, that if you're going to travel, you'll be up front?
Maybe not. It's cool. Don't know.
Okay. Interesting. What sort of car do you drive?
I drive a kind of crappy car as well. So, but it's kind of
How many children do you have?
I have 2 kids.
What ages?
7 and 5.
Are they going to grow up with an indulgent father, or are they going to grow up with a father who teaches them the values?
Oh, what happened? One thing my dad told me when
when he was sober one day.
Kid. Yeah, he told me one day. One thing when I was 20. I think I was 21 or something like that. He told me, "Don't expect a cent out of me." Man, it was horrible. It was brutal. And I think that kind of changed my life a bit as well.
All right. William, appreciate the call and the information. Good on you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, bye. Newstalk to me at 11:17.
Stop the carguments and record while you drive with a Navman dash camera. Grab yours at Noel Leeming today.
Retirement should mean having nothing to worry about. So ideally, you want a comfortable place to call your own, medical care and support with daily living. And you need to know it's affordable. So here's great news. Your ideal lifestyle is available now. With a choice of modern studio apartments, tailored care packages, and with prices starting under $200,000, you know it's affordable. Rosedale Village in Albany. Call 0800 102 547 to find out more.
Yes to this. Yes to this. Yes to this. Yes to it all with an affordable loan from Yes Finance for one amazing holiday this year. Yes Finance puts you in control with personalised payments to perfectly suit your budget with the best rates around. Turn your dream holiday into a holiday. Go to yesfinance.co.nz and start the journey.
Lending criteria, terms, fees and conditions apply.
Yes!
When it comes to getting new curtains or blinds, leave it to the experts. Auckland Drape Company has expert in-home consultants who work with you, your decor and your budget. And this month there's up to 30% off fabrics by James Dunlop, Charles Parsons and Warwick. Some conditions apply. When it comes to windows, it's first in, best dressed. Call for your free in-home consultation today and an expert will come to you. Auckland Drape Company, 379 5599.
Let House of Travel take you to the island of Tasmania. From stunning vistas of the eastern beaches to remote wild landscapes in the west, this bucket list destination will leave you spellbound. Feel exhilarated on the cliff tops of the Three Capes walking track. Indulge in seasonal paddock-to-plate dining and drop into a salador. Our experiences start from $1099 per person sheer twin from Auckland, including flights, accommodation and car hire. Conditions apply. Now's the time to explore the island of Tasmania with House of Travel. The best holidays are created together.
No battleground is as dangerous as the human heart. Join the Auckland Philharmonia Orchestra in association with New Zealand Opera for Verdi's thrilling opera, Aida.
The Trust's Community Foundation Opera in concert, Verdi's Aida, 7:30pm Friday the 20th of July, Auckland Town Hall. Book at ticketmaster.co.nz.
Wake up with the best. It's the Mike Hosking Breakfast, thanks to BNZ.
World's first openly transsexual MP, Georgina Beyer, has been invited to speak at the famed Oxford Union, no less. She follows, of course, in the steps of Helen Clark and David Longy, who was part of one of the most famous debates of all time, of course. Did this come out of the blue?
Absolutely out of the blue. They really want to know about my life, how I managed to sort of achieve things here in New Zealand. I think it's a good news story.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast, thanks to BNZ.
On Newstalk ZB.
20 after 11. Tony, morning.
G'day, how you going?
Very good.
This reduced working thing, it's based on productivity, what I gather from what I heard today. So in very basic terms, if you produce 100 units, that's your required production. If you can do that in 4 days, you can have the 5th day off. Yeah. So as an employer, wouldn't you think, well, hang on, you're not really digging it in, are you? What about we get 20% more output and everyone wins?
Well, if they got 20% more output, they'd want more money, correct?
Correct. Yep, of course they would. And you would be, as the, hopefully, company owner, making more.
Well, there's no point if you're not. Look, there are various ways of looking at it, aren't there? Maybe there isn't the increase in productivity that's available to them. I mean, you say that. Well, the attitude was they're doing in 4 days what they were doing in 5, and they're getting paid for the full 5, same amount of money, but they're working harder over a shorter period. The question then becomes one: can you work that hard for 5 days? And just maybe that's where the problem or the key lies to it.
Yeah, true. Although having listened to your last caller, I bet he could.
Well, I was thinking there are people who probably were listening and thinking, greedy, selfish bastard, 5 houses, he wants 5 houses. What about the people he's depriving of houses? Why should he have 5 houses? And I say, damn well good on him.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, God.
There's nothing stopping anybody who wants to doing the same thing.
Exactly, I agree. One other thing, can I bring up a different topic, but on Mr. Trump, if that's 2 minutes. Before he was elected, I called you and you said to people, what are you looking for if he wins? And I just said something different. And we're getting that, without doubt. The number of people that still will not even give him one piece of credit for anything, it just frustrates me. And I just can't wait till the measure comes, and it probably won't come until history shows it.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that he has done that's definitely made a difference.
Somebody wrote to me this morning, if I remember correctly, said my reversal on Trump does me no favours or no honour or something. I've forgotten how it was phrased. The answer to your question is partly involved in my answer to him. You're hearing what you want to hear, not what I'm saying. I didn't do a reversal. I took into account some other aspects that have developed over the 21 hours since I finished the program yesterday to when I began this morning, and made some adjustments. My faith in Trump, my attitude to Trump hasn't changed a bit.
Right. Good.
Just saying.
Good.
All right. Thanks, Tony. 24 past 11. News Talks to me. Numbers 0800 80 1080. Now to St. Pierre's Sushi Stores and Nick Katsoulis. Very good morning. Avocados. Nick, tell me whether you've got a good supply.
Leighton, avocados are back. We have got a great supply. Thank God, that's all I say, because our customers were at the brink of going crazy with the shortage that we had this winter, Leighton. We've got beautiful avocados in store now, Leighton. New season avocado, so come and enjoy the creaminess of new season avocado in your sushi roll at St. Pierre's. And the great thing about St. Pierre's, Leighton, is that we have our double avocado sushi range, which no other sushi place does. You get a lot of avocado in your sushi, and you get it with your favorite complement. You can have it with fresh salmon double avocado. We get regular or jumbo size. You can have teriyaki chicken. You can have tuna mayo, which is beautiful with double avocado. You can have prawn. And if you're a vegetarian, we've also got something we call the avocado junkie, which is beautiful double avocado, Japanese mayonnaise, and fresh roasted sesame seeds. And that, to me, is one of my favorite flavors, Leighton. If I'm feeling like healthy and wanting to have something that's light, I go for the avocado junkie, and you'll find that on our beautiful vegetarian menu range. Leighton, St. Pierre's is a place where kids love to come for lunch. So school holidays are still on. Mums, dads, aunties, uncles, bring them in, give them a decent feed. It'll be the best feed they can have next to you cooking at home. That's all I can say.
There you go.
What are you going to do, Leighton? Have a great holiday. I know you're going away for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself.
You've got too much inside information. I will have a very, very, very good time because time is short. Thank you, Nick.
Want to stay ahead of the pack? Yeah, you do. So head to UDO, New Zealand's newest career platform powered by NZME. Our job doesn't end when you get yours. With UDO Career Hubs, you can stay up to date with the latest news, events, and info for your industry. Perfect for impressing the boss. Stay ahead with UDO Career Hubs and search for your next job at udo.co.nz.
Peter, good morning.
Morning, Leighton. Look, Leighton, this 4 days work for 5 days pay started when I was at university 45 years ago. I used to work in a factory which in Wellington called PC Henderson's, and I was regularly told off for working too hard and too fast.
Yeah.
And the shop steward would come along, an English gentleman would come along and get stuck into me about doing far too much in an hour. Now, that's the only reason we've developed this work attitude or lack of work attitude allows us to be able to do now full 4 days work that used to take 5 days.
Yeah.
And it's actually a very sad indictment of actually using our time efficiently in the workplace in the first instance.
Yeah.
The next thing is we'll be able to do 3 days worth of work and 5 days worth of work in 3 days because the standard and level of the amount of work that we can achieve and what we actually do and how much effort we put into it diminishes, and that's what's tending to happen. And that's one of the reasons why as a country we're no longer competitive and why our true growth rates haven't grown. We have inflation and we have a growth in GDP through population growth, gone from 3 million people at that time to 4.7 million people. But we actually don't produce more per person or as much per person as we did then.
Yeah.
And that's why our true standard of living has dropped.
Now, I've got to just toss in something here at the end, Peter. In my garage, a number of years ago now, a bunch of young guys, one of them being one of my sons, a bunch of young guys in there, and they were talking about work, part-time work. And I've never forgotten one of the comments about employment relations and what have you. Don't worry about being late or anything. They can't fire you. And that was the attitude. Now, I've got to say, the guy who said that has proved himself to be a very astute young businessman now. But at that particular time, his attitude was a little different. Fortunately, he had parents who straightened him out a bit. Peter, appreciate the call. Thanks.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Play more for less at the Warehouse Big Toy Month. Good morning. The Southern Motorway City bound still fairly heavy there, Drury through to Takanini. Now we do have a new lane layout at Takanini. After that, a nice run into the city. No delays on the northern, northwestern or the southwestern. The Warehouse Big Toy Month is on now with the most toys in the nation. Ivanka Zonich for Time Saver Traffic and Travel. 0800 Jammed updates us.
Successful residential property investment needs 3 key ingredients: population growth, increased housing demand, and a consistent rise in median sales prices. Duval are now building Avenue Apartments, which combine all 3. But they didn't stop there. For only $550,000 with a 10% deposit, Avenue Apartments come fully managed and furnished, adding up to $50 to its weekly rental value. Sit back and watch your investment grow faster. Text OPEN to 875.
Weeknights, 8 to midnight, Marcus Lush Nights. The perfect mix of fast-moving talkback with Yes Finance. Everyday finance for everyday people. For more than 20 years, Yes Finance has been a solid and trustworthy provider of finance, delivering quick and easy financial products and services to everyday people and everyday small to medium businesses. Find out more at Yes Finance. Thanks to Yes Finance. Weeknights, 8 to midnight on Newstalk ZB.
You could be new to business or an old hand with all the tricks. You could have just started up your first venture or still at it after 20 years on the business roller coaster. Wherever your business is at, Yes Finance's dedicated team specialise in finance that keeps business well supported with some of the best rates around. Interested? Go to yesfinance.co.nz.
Lending criteria, terms, fees and conditions apply.
Always read the label and take as directed. Sleep Drops Auckland.
Are you losing the plot, yelling at the kids, lost your mojo, or actually worrying you're losing your marbles? The bad news is you might be. The good news is you might just need a little help from Daytime Revive, Sleep Drop's all-round awesome daytime energy support remedy. It simultaneously picks you up and calms you down. We think it's so cool we're going to give it to you free with every 30 ml Sleep Drops for adults in Health 2000s and pharmacies across New Zealand for a limited time.
Newstalk ZB headlines.
With Blue Bubble taxis, it's no trouble with Blue Bubble. A teenager has pleaded guilty to all 4 charges around a vehicle crash that killed a 17-year-old on an Auckland beach. More senior police officers are throwing in the towel, putting pressure on the government's police hiring targets. It's promised 1,800 more officers on the beat over the next 3 years, but around 500 officers a year are leaving. Coromandel State Highway 25 at Ruamahunga will be closed daily from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. as contractors work to clear a large slip. And motorists travelling on State Highway 1 between Kaikoura and Cheviot are being told to expect delays as wreckage is cleared from a truck that rolled onto its side last night. The road will close between midday and 1 p.m. while the vehicle is recovered. The Queen is raising eyebrows for her choice of accessories during last week's meeting with Donald Trump. The vintage brooch that she was wearing was gifted to her by Barack and Michelle Obama during their state visit in 2011. Bowie's back. A dog snatched outside an Auckland burger bar has been reunited with its owners 3 months later. See it now at nzherald.co.nz. Back to Leighton Smith.
It is 27 to 12. Somebody sent me, I've just printed it, an article entitled Democrats Need to Get a Grip on Reality. This week, the Washington Post published an op-ed headlined, "It's not wrong to compare Trump's America to the Holocaust." You can only shake your head. As with similar examples of this genre, it's a sickening display of moral relativism that belittles the suffering and murder of millions in the service of some short-sighted and crass partisan fear-mongering. This week, Politico published an opinion piece headlined, Putin's attack on the US is our Pearl Harbor, which demeaned the sacrifice of American soldiers by likening a military attack on American soil that brought us to the bloodiest war mankind has ever experienced to email phishing. But it ends this way, and this is probably the best line of the whole article. The Trump presser with Putin was unhinged. The Trump presser, meaning the press conference, the Trump presser with Putin was unhinged, and so is your reaction to it. I think that summarises it beautifully. David, morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Leighton, I just want to come from an angle of being a former employer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked. I can understand in some situations where some people might need to work 4 days a week. However, if people can do the same amount of work in 4 days as they can do in 5 days, then they're obviously not working very hard during the 5 days, and that's obvious. And another thing too, Leighton, that made me laugh was you mentioned, somebody was mentioning about Niue Island. They bring Filipinos in to work for Niue Island. They do that in Rarotonga as well, and other places, because a lot of the locals just don't want to work. It's interesting. I've been to the Philippines quite a few times. They don't have a welfare system, and man, can those guys work. And if they don't work, they don't eat. And no matter how poor they are, they'll go out and find a way of working and getting some money for their families. And that's why they are good, predominantly are good workers. And so I think our attitude towards work in New Zealand's wrong, and it sucks actually. And also, our welfare system is killing our people. It's killing them, and they've just got a lot of. I hear people talking about work, and they just don't want to work. They just couldn't be bothered. Like work's a four-letter word that starts with.
So you're suggesting the welfare system is the root of all evil?
No. But it's just interesting that when you have a welfare state, how it eventually ends up like a cancer in the society. And as you said, with people who've got a lot more time on their hands, they can do a lot more naughty things. When you're busy working 5 or 6, like I'm only work 6 days a week, you don't have time to do anything.
Well, you're an ideal person to discuss my theory, and that is that happiness mainly comes from rarity. Happiness, you can't sustain happiness constantly.
No,
and
you can't.
You value the things you value most in life and that give you reward and happiness are the things that are the rarest. In the main, there's always an exception, but in the main,
yes, yeah, and the things you work for too. They make. Well, if you get something given to you all the time, then it's you don't really respect it.
Well, therein lies even a better quote that I believe in, and that is, happiness is not the word I'd use. Firstly, satisfaction and reward comes from achievement, not out of a welfare check.
Yes, that's right. Look, I work for myself now. I can't be bothered employing people, and I do all right. And I have one break a day, one break. I have half an hour for lunch, which encompasses my morning smoko and afternoon smoko, and that's just the way I like to work.
Well, what break are you on at the moment?
That's it. That's my one and only break.
What do? You want to tell
me?
Building? You're a builder.
Mm.
You making hay while the proverbial sun shines, or
yeah,
because
absolutely.
Do you anticipate that sometime in your future, and I don't know how old you are, but do you anticipate that?
Well, probably kindred's age.
So you don't expect that there will be a fall off in work anytime in your working life?
Yeah, I think there will be. Yep.
How can there be when we're so many tens of thousands of homes short?
Baloney. It's all claptrap political jargon. When some of those Labor guys are talking about we're going to build 20,000 new homes, and I'm thinking, yeah, right, yeah.
All right.
Let's build them next week if they're that easy.
Okay. All right.
It might happen.
Good call, David. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Newstalk's a B22 to 12. Numbers 0800 80 1080.
Right now at Freedom, it's 48 months no deposit and no interest. From sofas to dining tables and beautiful new decorator pieces, find everything you need to warm up your home this winter. So go on, get cosy with Freedom. B's, T's and C's apply.
Dealing with traders takes a certain kind of nerve. But in our apartment market, there are lots of traders. It's cheap to renovate an apartment, and then it has to be resold. And the dealers love city sales because we've geared up for them and we get the results. If you like it fast and can handle the rough and tough, we've got a career for you. Martin Dunn, 3030 601.
Citysales.co.nz.
Licensed real estate agent.
Why is living at Mayfair Retirement Village so appealing? We asked some of our residents.
The quietness is wonderful, security good, the fellowship amazing.
And I have to say, my friends cannot get over the difference in me since I've been here. I'm so much more relaxed and I smile a lot and I laugh a lot.
Retirement your way at Mayfair. Come to their open day. Tomorrow, 10 till 1. Mayfair Retirement Village, Otaha Valley Road, North Cross. Or view online, arenaliving.nz.
Is your bank making life difficult? Do you have a sound property development but can't fund it? Have you bought a house but you haven't sold yours yet? Do you want to buy a business or consolidate some debts? If you have 25% equity in your property, I can probably help you. I'm Ian Woods of Ian Woods Mortgages. Getting the money you need is what I do. I can give you an indication immediately after our first discussion. Call me now on 021 82 82 40 or visit ianwoodsmortgages.co.nz.
If health and well-being is what your business is all about, exhibit with us at the 2018 Live Well Festival. October 13th and 14th at The Cloud. A 2-day event giving you the opportunity to be seen by thousands of customers with a passion for living a healthier lifestyle. It's all about fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, skincare, food and beverages, and more at the Live Well Festival. If this sounds like you, then let's talk. Email events@nzme.co.nz.
Robust debate, robust discussion, robust opinion. Call 0800 80 1080. The Leighton Smith Show on Newstalk ZB.
0800 80 1080. Now from the family-owned fine wine delivery company at 42 Lunn Avenue, Mount Wellington, and 60 Constellation Drive on the shore. Jeff Poole, very good morning.
Good morning to you, Leighton.
Now, you've got a remarkable secret red wine clearance today. Premium Hawke's Bay Merlot Cabernet being cleared at the astounding price of $120 a dozen.
Well, that is astounding, isn't it, Leighton? $10 a bottle for this quality is an absolute nonsense. This is an iconic Hawke's Bay winery who have made the annual Gimlet Gravel's top 12 wine selections for the last 8 consecutive years. Their quality is undeniable, and so is this wine. And you and I know this winery very well, Leighton, but I'm sworn to secrecy, and likewise, I've had to swear you to secrecy.
Yeah, I hate being sworn to secrecy. Anyway, this is the second and final clearance of 2 significant cancelled export orders. You wouldn't see this happening again anytime soon, would you?
I don't actually ever expect to see this iconic Hawke's Bay winery selling their premium red wine for $120 a dozen again. This is the final clearance from a cancelled export debacle. Now, which can happen, of course, even to our best wineries, but is really exceptionally rare for this winery.
So 100% Hawke's Bay fruit with quality winemaking, we know that. So not only a terrific everyday drinking bargain, I expect that it will age well as well.
Yes, absolutely. 2016, of course, was a lovely, ripe Hawke's Bay vintage, and this Merlot Cabernet fruit is off their superb estates, and now it's aged in French oak and held for 2 years before release. So it has that warmth and early approachability of the 2016 vintage, but also the depth and structure to drink and improve for the next 3 to 5 years.
So fair to say that you wouldn't normally be discussing potential for 5 years of aging and improvement in a red wine costing just $10 a bottle.
Absolutely. You'd normally be tipping $10 red wines down the sink if you kept them 5 years. Look, this cancelled export order of premium Hawke's Bay Red is labelled under our Fine Wine Delivery Code premium label to disguise its real identity. The winery needs to cash it up quickly, and that's the sole reason why it's being offered to ZB listeners today at an astounding $120 for a dozen bottles.
Jeffrey, enough said, I think. What's the best way to get our hands on a case, or cases for that matter, of this astounding red wine clearance?
Well, listeners, I repeat, I do not see a red wine clearance of this quality versus price happening again in a very long time. At $10 a bottle, of course, you're going to be able to afford to enjoy it any time you like, but I just urge you to give a serious thought to also putting a case or two aside at this price to enjoy over the next 2 to 3 years. By the way, we released it to Fine Wine Delivery Co. customers yesterday, and over 500 dozen of our 1,000-case shipment has already gone. Now, you won't want to miss this deal, so log on right now to finewinedelivery.co.nz. While the offer is displayed on the homepage, your order is guaranteed and will be out our door today and en route to you. Otherwise, call our team on 0800 Fine Wine, that's 0800 346 394, and leave a message with your requirements if you don't get through directly.
And, of course, it's open for tasting at your Purple Superstores?
Absolutely, yes. 60 Constellation Drive on the North Shore or 42 Lunab Mount Wellington. It's well worth dropping into taste, but be warned, you'll likely buy more than you intended if you taste it first.
Indeed. So some people are on holidays at the moment. If you are and you've got your mobile with you, then you order from the Fine Wine Delivery Company Premium Hawke's Bay Red on finewinedelivery.co.nz, finewinedelivery.co.nz. Otherwise, call 0800 Fine Wine, which is 0800 346 394, or try it first at 60 Constellation Drive on the Shore or 42 Lunn Avenue in Mount Wellington. $10 a bottle. 15 to midday. Mark, morning.
Yeah, good morning, Leighton. The 4-day working week. It's one of those one-size-fits-all things that sounds really good when you first hear it, but the devil, of course, is in the detail, and a lot of that detail has been covered by yourself this morning and other commentators or callers to the to the program. But yeah, I mean, I was musing about the different things. I mean, there are both positives and negatives, but certainly, when people who, when they're together, have short tempers and get cheesed off with each other on a 2-day weekend, a 3-day weekend or 4-day weekend is going to be just that much worse. There's that sort of downside, but it's human nature. People will do whatever they want to suit them, and like has been said, some people use that extra time to go and find another job. Others will pursue other things. So people adapt to circumstances, and so if there was an edict tomorrow that we all would work a 4-day week, then I'm sure over time people would adapt, and what at the end of the day would really have changed. We may be worse off. That's my thought on it. I'm in my 4th decade of working now for a good 3.5 decades. There, I worked as an employee. I was fortunate enough to be well paid for what I did, and now I'm a consultant and I work for myself and doing the same work. And for me, I just fit my work into my life. Some days I don't have to work at all. Other times, if there's a rush on, or I'll work weekends. I'll work right.
Speaking of weekends, Mark, when do you reckon the concept of the weekend came into existence in China? When would you guess?
I would say either it hasn't or it's very recent.
1990, I'm informed by Dave, but he has put a question mark on it. No, the question mark's because he says, did you know that the weekend only came into existence in China in 1990? All in all, New Zealand is a fine country, but if the left starts to tinker with the present status quo, it may morph into something hurtful, in essence. Be grateful for what you've got.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good comment. And I'm very fortunate. Weekends, as I said, I can take time off as and when I choose, and so I'm not typical of somebody in the workforce. But certainly for me, I got to a point when I was salaried that leisure or time for myself with family and pursuing leisure activities was worth more to me than the paid work. Always, I think there does come a time in many careers when you actually hit that. And that's why some employers offer time and lieu and things like that. Even though that's I think towards the end of my salaried career, that was frowned on and discouraged. But certainly there's been some interesting developments in terms of employment law and that just with the recent Baisley report. And I was just reading an article last night how WorkSafe is actually starting to look at all of the big law firms and in connection with health and safety matters as regards how bullying and that sort of thing, which the issues that were raised in that report relate to health and safety. But that's another topic which I didn't really intend to get on to.
Yep, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. My comment earlier about working hard and like William did, or does, or did, has brought a comment from. What time did this come in? 11:33. From a source that doesn't surprise me. My only question, Tracy, is why the hell do you listen? You're completely wrong about owning 5 houses, like so many people who do not understand. You do not own 5 houses because of hard work. It happens because I struggle to read this because it's so bloody stupid. It happens because of inflation or massive demand creating inflation. Young Kiwis today will never have the opportunity your caller had for 2 reasons. First is the income to house price ratio, which is absolutely ridiculous. The second is inflation, which has nothing to do with work and is the result of government. Someone who makes the statement like, and I said this, anyone, if they work hard, can own 5 houses. No, I think I said anyone who works hard can do what he did. Be that as it may, whichever way, is naive, selfish, and ignorant. No, you're just too bloody stupid to realise it.
New Zealand, love it. One Roof and TVNZ1 are giving you the chance to win $10,000 towards your home deposit. To be in to win, watch Kirsty and Phil's Love It or List It, Wednesday 7:30pm. Spot the One Roof code word pop up on screen, then register at oneroof.co.nz/win. Each weekly episode offers a new code word and a new chance to win. One place to watch it.
On One.
Thanks to TVNZ and oneroof.co.nz. All things property.
Here's another urgent AMP insurance alert.
Careless Carl in the supermarket car park.
No, he always picks the trolley with a bung wheel.
And he tries to steer it back to the car while on the phone.
Then he'll leave it on a slope.
It'll be bouncing off parked cars like a pinball.
And he never leaves a note.
Insuring your new car with AMP is easy. Go online, anywhere, anytime, and get a quick quote today for car park ding cover tomorrow. Visit amp.co.nz.
Remember, New Zealand, be careful out there.
Underwritten by Vero Insurance NZ Limited.
PwC Herald Talks. Who better to discuss the new generation making waves in the workplace than a millennial? PwC Herald Talks brings you Sam Stutchbury, founder of award-winning creative agency Motion Sickness. Sam, the only Kiwi to make the 2018 Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list of creative disruptors, will be joined by a panel of experts for PwC Herald Talks. Millennials Move Up, Gen Z Move In. July 25th at Sky City Theatre. Book now at iTicket.
The undisputed king of magic, Dynamo, is almost here. Seeing is believing, live.
You can't just walk away. You have to explain that to me.
Coming to Auckland, Christchurch and Wellington from July 20. Spellbinding magic tricks and incredible illusions. Prepare to be amazed. Final tickets from just $74.
We're just pawns in Dynamo's game.
On sale now. Be quick before they disappear. Tour details at tegdainty.com.
Attention new ute buyers. Manukau Toyota are financing buyers of new Hilux SR and SR5 at a low 3.9% with 10% down and the balance over 3 years. This deal is open to both private and fleet customers, so drive away happy in a new Toyota Hilux ute. Only at Manukau Toyota. T's and C's apply.
Manukau Toyota, altogether better.
Let me just reprise my comments to Tracy. She insults everybody who goes without, works their butt off, makes investments, goes without further, works their butt off, and gets somewhere. And it's not impossible to do it in today's climate. I get calls from people who do it, like the young guy down at Takanini or Papakura, with a family. I think 2 small kids and a wife, a family, a real family. Went to a part of town they didn't want to because that's the only place they could afford, was working on the house, doing it up while living in it, would sell it and move up the scale a bit. That's how you start, and that's what you do. We've got a friend who has a single female who has done exactly the same thing over a period of years. I have nothing but admiration for her. They make decisions of what they want to do and achieve in life, and financial independence has a great deal to do with it, more than anything else, if you want. Not to become rich, but to become financially independent. A goal that every young person should be inspired toward, instead of being clipped around the ears by, you can't do it because this, because that, because something else. Get out of here. Now, in an isolated village in the mountains of Andalusia, a mysterious Frenchwoman begins work on a dangerous memoir. It is the story of a man she once loved in the Beirut of old, and a child taken from her in treason's name. The woman is the keeper of the Kremlin's most closely guarded secret. Long ago, the KGB inserted a mole into the heart of the West, a mole who stands on the doorstep of ultimate power. Only one man can unravel the conspiracy, Gabriel Allon, the legendary art restorer and assassin who serves as the chief of Israel's vaunted secret intelligence service. Gabriel has battled the dark forces of the new Russia before, at great personal cost. Now he and the Russians will engage in a final epic showdown with the fate of the post-war global order hanging in the balance. I got my hands on the brand new Daniel Silva novel yesterday, The Other Woman, it's called. And I'm 3 behind now. This is the 3rd one. I've got 2 in between. And I thought I can't read it because I've got to read the other 2 first. Instead of that, I'm going to get stuck into it starting this weekend. Why? Because it's topical. It's typical of Daniel Silva. He has had the capacity over years to target current events and knock out a novel within a year that is just riveting. And we shall return in the morning at 8:37. Until then, you have a great day and take care.
Thank you.
Do you love having family and friends over to visit? At our North Shore villages, Knightsbridge, Mayfair and Park Lane, we have spacious, modern 2- and 3-bedroom homes available now. There's plenty of room for entertaining, and they're perfect for having the grandkids to come and stay, just like you're used to.
Don't miss out. 2- and 3-bedroom homes available now. Call Laura on 0800 774 635 or visit arenaliving.nz.
You'll never guess what I've found in storage, John. It's the older Fisher & Paykel E372B Elegance fridge freezer.
They don't make them like that anymore, do they, Adrian?
What voice is that, John?
This is what I sounded like when the older model was released.
It's not that old.
But it does fit into those older fridge cavities. A rare find these days.
And it's all yours for just $1,295.
But be quick, limited stock.
Magnus Benroe, 3 legendary stores Auckland-wide.
This is Dr. Thomas Levy, an American cardiologist. It's now the time of year when colds and flu and even pneumonia are a greater threat to your health. Lipospheric vitamin C is a must for the medicine cabinet during the cooler months. Ask for lipospheric vitamin C by name at your pharmacy, Health 2000, in Hardy stores, or online at John Appleton, Auckland. It's a sensational product.
Read the label and use as directed.
With Yui, there are 40 ways to save on insurance. Meet Jack.
G'day.
Let's see how he could save on car insurance. Drive to work?
Nah, I prefer the train.
You could pay less at Yui. What colour's your car?
White, actually. Not very exciting.
No modifications?
Oh, look at me.
Had your licence long?
Since I was 16.
Plus, a 15% discount when you buy your insurance online. Why not see how many of the 40 ways apply to you? With Yui, you could save lots. Just go to yui.co.nz and get a quote online. Underwriting T's and C's apply.
T&T Children's Wear has 60% off padded vests and pants, plus all quilted sweat tops and track pants half price, and flannelette shirts only $5.99. That's up to 60% off everything winter.
Only at T&T Children's Wear.
In Auckland on 89.4, this is Newstalk ZB. From the Newstalk ZB News Centre, this is Newstalk ZB News.
It's 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Malcolm Jordan. A teenager has pleaded guilty to all 4 charges around a vehicle crash that killed a 17-year-old on an Auckland beach. The 18-year-old